Chapter 1291. More people came? She didn't seem to recognize anyone. Who came? Many came. All of them are the leaders of the bird clans. Please search to see the most complete. Baita said. They said they want to meet you and Master Qi Yan. Sima Yue was stunned. She contacted Qi Yan in the spirit pagoda and asked him if he wanted to meet them. Qi Yan was silent for a while, then said, I'll go out and meet them, you just wait here. Don't you need me to accompany you? Don't you have guests here? Sima Yue looked at the president and the rest. They immediately understood and said, We just came to check on your condition and tell you about this. Since we're almost done, and you have other things to do, we'll go back first. We're really sorry. Sima Yue didn't ask them to stay. It was Qi Yan's first time meeting the bird clans. She wanted to go with him. Then we'll go back first. We'll tell you about the alliance later. Xue Chonglin and the rest stood up. All right, I'll look for you when I'm better. When are you leaving? Sima Yue asked as she sent them out. Shouldn't be too long. Xia Chongtian said. When we've settled the alliance, we'll inform you. That's good too. I might have some other things to settle. It's best if you can tell me directly. Sima Yue was grateful for their understanding. You're injured so badly because of this, and you have so many things to settle. It's only right that we give you some convenience. Xia Chongtian said. But Yue, you can't forget that you're a member of the Alchemist Guild even if you're the vice president. Sima Yue saw the hidden bitterness in his eyes and giggled, saying, President, don't worry, I won't forget. That's good. Oh right, why didn't I see Guard Gao this time? Sima Yue thought about how Xia Chongtian was so clingy to Gao Zhihong. She thought that he had something to do, but after not seeing him for so long, it was strange. I told him to investigate that power. Xia Chongtian said. Sima Yue was surprised. Then who will be responsible for your safety? There are other guards. Xia Chongtian said. Can the other guards protect you? Sima Yue was worried. If the people from that power knew about the alliance, they might do something to them. If the guards were not in place, their safety would be in danger. It shouldn't be a problem, Xia Chongtian said. No matter how strong that power is, they wouldn't dare to cause trouble in the alliance. I hope so. Sima Yue pursed her lips. After they left, she was still worried and secretly sent a few scarlet bees to follow him. After Xia Chongtian and the others left, Baita brought a group of people in. Sima Yue scanned the group. There were about 20 people. Greetings, Miss Yue. They bowed to Sima Yue. No matter how arrogant they were usually, no matter how much they looked down on humans, today, they had to lower their status to the lowest. If it was said that the great golden-winged roc had just evolved and they could still choose to ignore her because of their seniority, then with the appearance of the vermilion bird, they could no longer avoid Sima Yue's position in the bird clan. You are. Sima Yue did not recognize any of them. We are the clan leaders of the bird clan. We were not here that day, but when we heard that you were injured, we came to pay our respects today. Please forgive us. I know that you are here to see Qi Yan today. Sima Yue said. Qi Yan come out. When Qi Yan came out, the bird clan leaders could not withstand his pressure, and all of them knelt down. Greetings, Lord Divine Bird. Qi Yan looked coldly at the people on the ground and said, In the future, when you see her, you have to be as respectful as when you see me, understand? Yes, we understand. Cold sweat appeared on the foreheads of the clan leaders. Although they had acknowledged Sima Yue's position, they were not very respectful because in their eyes, Sima Yue was still a junior. But they did not expect that this vermilion bird had angered Qi Yan, causing him to show them his power and emphasize Sima Yue's position. It seemed that they could not underestimate this little ancestor in the future. Qi Yan retracted his pressure and sat beside Sima Yue. You can all get up. The patriarch stood up shakily. Just now his pressure made them feel that in front of Qi Yan, he only needed to think about it, and they would die on the spot. Okay, you have seen me and know how to treat my contractor in the future. You can go back now, Qi Yan said. Sima Yue was speechless. After waiting for so long, he asked them to leave? The clan leaders were also surprised and did not move from their seats. Did Lord Divine Bird have to be so cold? Lord Divine Bird, when I have something to do, I will call you. You just need to leave your contact information and your place of residence. Qian said. Although they really wanted to spend more time with Lord Divine Bird, they couldn't resist Crimson Flame's will. In the end, those clan leaders had no choice but to leave. They were also ordered by Crimson Flame to convey his will. When Yu and he did not look for them, they were not to disturb their lives. Sima Yue felt that Qi Yan's attitude was really arrogant, but she did not expect that the clan leaders would all listen to him and leave. Qi Yan saw the surprise in Sima Yue's eyes. He took a sip of her tea and said, "This is the world of ranks. You will get used to it." "That is my teacup." Sima Yue protested. "Anyway, your Wu Lingyu is no longer here. He won't say anything." Qi Yan said indifferently, "Don't you have misophobia?" "I am used to it." Qi Yan took another sip before putting down the teacup and returning to the spirit pagoda. Sima Yue saw that he went back on his own initiative and sighed that it was good to have power. Speaking of which, if Qi Yan wanted to retaliate, she would not be able to do anything. Fortunately, he did not have that thought. Now that everyone had left, she took a breath and left the living room. She did not know what was going on in the backyard. When she walked out of the courtyard, she heard that her great-grandfather and Wu Lingyu's conversation did not seem to be very harmonious. However, no matter what, he was still her great-grandfather. Although he had her grandfather's approval, he still had to go through her immediate family. She thought that she would see an awkward scene when she returned, but she did not expect to see a happy and harmonious scene when she returned to the backyard. The four of them were drinking tea and chatting happily. It was not the scene she imagined at all. She remembered that when she left, she faintly heard her great-grandfather questioning him. How did it get better in such a short time? This guy was really resourceful. This book came from Chapter 1292. Later on, some people came to Sima Yue, but she rejected them all with the reason that she had not fully recovered. She didn't know where these people came from, so she didn't have the time to deal with them. Although Sima Zhiyuan felt that there were benefits to having a good relationship with these powers, his own great-granddaughter didn't like it, so he didn't say anything. A few days later, Shimin Feng brought Bai Sheng and the rest back. "Feng, or where did you guys go?" Sima Yue walked over and asked when she saw Shimin Feng entering the courtyard. "I made a trip to Fair Eastern City to take stock of the losses there." Shimin Feng said, "I thought it would be done in a few days. You were busy, so I didn't tell you." "What's the situation?" Sima Yue asked. Every industry suffered some losses, but they weren't very serious. The most serious one is the spirit cloth shop. Because of the corrosion of ghost qi, all of it can't be used anymore. Where are the personnel? More than a dozen employees died. We've already comforted their families. As for the others, because they were controlled, their mental strength was damaged and they can't work for the time being. I have already sent them back to Heartbreak Valley. As for the business in Fair Eastern City, I've asked them to temporarily close for a few days to replenish their supplies. We'll wait for the valley to send someone over to reopen. Well, it's not like we're lacking in that. We can start after everything is arranged. Sima Yue said. What about Lu Liangkai and Old Bai? I told them to go back and rest. They have been busy these past few days. Shimin Feng replied. When they're done resting, I'll call them over to discuss something. Sima Yue said. Are we going to deal with the Yinyang Palace and the Zhongzheng clan? Shimin Feng asked. What do you think? Sima Yue asked. Shimin Feng tucked her hair behind her ear and said. The valley has already prepared it, but leave it to us to handle. You just got injured, so don't worry about it. Sima Yue could feel the doting and fear in his words. She smiled and said, My injuries have healed. You know that. Although I can see that your injuries have healed, but when I close my eyes, the image of you being struck by lightning still appears in my mind. Shimin Feng's voice was somewhat trembling. Sima Yue could see the fear in his eyes. She knew that this incident had scared him to death. He had been worried that he would lose her for the past few days. She grabbed his hand and looked into his eyes. Don't worry. Since I've been reborn, I won't let myself die so easily. If it wasn't for Ling Yu's help that day, Would you have been able to hold on until the end? Thinking back to the scene that day, he still felt a chill in his heart. Of course. It's just that the situation will be a little worse. Sima Yu continued. Cloud Spirit and I are so close it won't really kill me. No matter what, you just need to have a good rest. Just leave the matters of the valley to us. Shimin Feng said. What you need to do now is to have a good rest. Don't worry about anything else. I'll update you with the latest news. Sima Yu shrugged when she saw how determined he was. Alright then. If the matters here are settled, we'll go back to Heartbreak Valley. How are you going to deal with this? Shimin Feng glanced at Sima Zhiyuan's room. To be honest, I don't know either. Sima Yu said. I don't know what the Sima family is like, so I can't make a decision for the time being. I think we'll talk about it after we find father. I think the Sima family's patriarch's attitude seems to be very determined. Shimin Feng hesitated for a moment and changed his rashness into determination. I think the people of Heartbreak Valley are very loving. If it's just a cold family, then I'm definitely willing to be with the brothers in the valley. Sima Yue didn't care if Sima Zhiyuan in the room could hear her or not. Or rather, she wanted to use this opportunity to express her thoughts. Sima Zhiyuan in the room frowned. This little brat still had a deep grudge against the family. It seemed that there was still a long way to go before he could let her go home. Sima Yue and Shimin Feng were chatting happily when they suddenly felt a fluctuation in the air. Both of them looked over cautiously. Wu Lingyu and Sima Zhiyuan in the room also came out. Who is it? Black fog seeped out of the air and slowly formed into a human figure. That person came in front of Sima Yue and knelt down. Your subordinate greets young Mississippi, someone from the Ghost clan? Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. Yes, your subordinate is from the Imperial Guards. My name is Diwu. That man said. Diwu. Dilu's brother? Sima Yue asked. Young Miss is indeed smart. Dilu said that I definitely can't hide it from young Miss for even a minute. The man smiled. I didn't expect you to be one of the leaders of the Imperial Guards. Get up quickly. Sima Yue raised her hand. Diwu got up and took out a token. The token shone brightly in his hand, proving that he was indeed the owner of the token. Deja had once told her that she could only trust people who came to her with this kind of token. Did cousin ask you to come? Did something happen to him in the ghost realm? Sima Yue asked. Master asked me to come, but it's not because something happened to him. It's because young Miss caused quite a commotion in the ghost realm. So Master specially asked me to tell young Miss not to go to the ghost realm in the near future. Diwu said. Me? Yes. Young Miss made use of the lightning tribulation to kill many people from the ghost clan. Among them were some disciples of aristocratic families and sect geniuses. So many people in the ghost realm are making a ruckus, requesting the Ghost King to send troops to suppress you. Diwu said. This human realm isn't a place that one can come and go as they please, right? Sima Yue said. Normal people can't come over, but if there's something to help, people like me can come too. Diwu continued. If they send someone more powerful to assassinate you, it's quite dangerous. So Master reminded young Miss to be on guard against the assassination from the Ghost clan. Go back and tell him that I'll be careful. Sima Yue said. Master didn't ask me to go back. Diwu said. Didn't ask you to go back? Ask you to stay? Yes, Master asked me to stay and protect young Mississippi. Everyone in the courtyard was silent. Shimin Feng looked at Diwu and said, if they really send someone to assassinate you, you can't stop them, right? You'll bring us trouble if you stay. As long as I restrain my aura, even a monarch rank expert won't be able to discover me. Diwu continued. And I'm more sensitive to the aura of the Ghost clan. If any Ghost clan comes close, I'll be able to discover them immediately. Are you a dog? Sima Yue said. Young Miss is so smart. My original form is a hellhound. Diwu said proudly. Sima Yue was speechless. She was just teasing him. How would she know that he was a dog? Chapter 1293. But it was just a thought. She did not say it out loud. Moreover, this hellhound was not an ordinary dog. He would be sad if she said it like that. That I really don't need you to follow me. She was not used to strangers following her. It would be inconvenient for her to do many things. But if I don't follow you, I can't go back. Diwoo looked at Sima Yue with an aggrieved face. Can't go back? What do you mean? I used a one-way tunnel to come here. I can only come from that side and not from here, Diwoo said. Sima Yue's face turned black. Cousin asked you to do this, right? Miss is so smart. Lingyu, can you send him back to Ghost Realm? Sima Yue turned her gaze to Wu Lingyu. Yes. Wu Lingyu nodded. Don't miss. If you send me back, I will be mocked to death by them, Diwoo shouted. If that's the case, I might as well just die in the human realm. Weren't Ghost Clan's people more sinister? What's with this silly look? Why was this Diwoo so different from the calm Dilu? Diwoo, it's really not suitable for you to follow me, Sima Yue said. I have many things to do. I won't be able to do them well with you by my side. Miss, just ignore me. I won't speak, make any noise or cause any trouble. I will only help you to check if there's any danger around. I won't disturb you, Diwoo said. Sima Yue realized that this fella had the potential to make her speechless. Why didn't he understand what she said? She did not mind having another person by her side, but she had her own secrets. But this fella did not seem to understand what she meant. He even looked as though he would stay quiet. Do you want to make a move? Wu Lingyu asked. You. Sima Yue looked at Diwoo's pitiful look. The words make a move were stuck in her throat. Who taught this guy how to act cute? Diwoo saw that Sima Yue's heart softened. He quickly stuck close to her and giggled. Young mistress, don't worry, I'll definitely be a quiet and handsome man. Sima Yue glanced at him. His facial features were indeed decent, but his baby face and those mischievous eyes completely betrayed him. I think it's better to send him back, Shimin Feng said. We've just settled the matter with the Ghost Clan. If people find out that you're with the Ghost Clan now, I'm afraid it'll attract some trouble. Diwoo looked at Shimin Feng with resentment. Miss didn't even want to marry him, but this guy was still instigating him. How could he be so evil? I also agree with Feng. The ghost race had just caused such a huge commotion, causing the people of the continent to hate the ghost race even more. Even if you had saved them, their hatred towards the Ghost Clan would not be reduced. Instead, they'll blame you. Sima Zhiyuan had seen more and understood people's hearts more. Sima Yue looked at Diwoo with a smile and said, See, I'm not the only one who said no. It's really not suitable for you to stay. I don't care. I'm not going back. I want to follow you. Diwoo said, If I go back, I won't have the face to see anyone in the future. When Baida came in, he saw a person he had never seen before acting coquettishly towards Sima Yue. He didn't know if he was acting coquettishly or shamelessly. Valley Lord, Vice Valley Lord. This is Old Bai, can you sense his aura? Sima Yue asked. Baida sensed for a while and said, I can't sense it. Which family's young master is this? You can't sense the Ghost Clan's aura on him? He's from the Ghost Clan? Valley Lord. Why would someone from the Ghost Clan come here? Baida was astonished. He really couldn't tell that this person was from the Ghost Clan. Sima Yue was astonished. She thought this guy was bragging just now. She didn't expect him to be so capable. Let's try again, Sima Yue said. Go and call Old Bai and the rest over to try. Don't tell them beforehand. Okay. Baida turned and was about to leave when he suddenly remembered his purpose of coming in. He turned back and said, Vice Valley Lord, someone from the Divinator sect requests to see you. Divinator sect? Is Lin here? Sima Yue froze. It's not Master Lin, it's a very young man. She said he's called Xiaotong. Baida said. Xiaotong is here? Where is he? He's waiting in the living room. Baida didn't know why Sima Yue was so agitated. I'll go over directly. Bring Old Bai and the rest over to experiment. After Sima Yue finished speaking, she abandoned the people in the courtyard and ran away. That's right, she ran away. This had never happened before. This girl has never been so agitated when she saw me. Sima Zhiyuan was unhappy, jealous and resentful. She has never been so agitated when she saw me. Wu Lingyu agreed. You don't get this treatment either? Sima Zhiyuan felt a little better. It seemed like he wasn't the only one who got this treatment. Oh right. Why did the divinator sect come to find her? They should be here to tell her news about her father. Wu Lingyu was guessing, but his tone was certain. What did you say? Sima Zhiyuan was also agitated. The divinator sect will really tell her news about little Xian. Sima family's head doesn't know? Wu Lingyu saw that he was so surprised and said, Yin Lin told Sima Yue to look for clean water in the immortal land. If she found it, he would tell her news about her father. After she came out, Yin Lin said that the time wasn't right. I think it should be because her spiritual energy was sealed at that time. Now that her spiritual energy is back, I guess he is here to tell her the news. Sima Zhiyuan's face darkened. I actually didn't know about such an important thing. Didn't the two uncles tell you? Wu Lingyu said unintentionally. Those two bastards, they didn't even tell me about such an important thing. Watch me teach them a lesson. Sima Zhiyuan walked towards Sima Lufeng's house after he finished speaking, to find someone to teach them a lesson. Wu Lingyu laughed unkindly. You guys didn't help me put in a good word and even hit me when I was down. You guys will suffer this time. This move, it's ruthless. I'm afraid the two uncles will be taught a lesson by the old master for a long time. Shimen Feng said. Did they offend you? No. Wu Lingyu said so, but his expression showed that he didn't think so. Di Wu, who was at the side, was confused, but he could see that Wu Lingyu wasn't someone to be trifled with. It was better not to provoke him in the future. Sima Yue came to the living room. As expected, she saw Little Helper sitting there alone waiting for her. Little Helper, did your master ask you to send me the news? Chapter 1294. Seeing her anxious look, the child smiled and said, Yes. What did your master say? Where is my father? Sima Yue asked anxiously. Sister Yue, don't be anxious. My master said that he will only tell you when everyone is here. Xiao Tong's indifferent look really resembled his master, who deserved a beating. Isn't this my own business? Why do we need everyone here? Sima Yue was confused. My master said that because you have given us too much, we must repay you. Originally, we were only supposed to give you information about your father, but now, we're going to help you rescue your father. That's why I want to go with you. Xiao Tong said. Aren't you not allowed to participate in these matters? Will it bring you any trouble if I get involved? Sima Yue asked worriedly. Big sister Yue, master said that I changed my future because of you. If I don't return it to you, I won't be able to retire and will hinder my future development, Little Helper said. Also, master told me that this trip will be more daunting than dangerous. I won't die. Sima Yue was relieved to hear that. She asked, Who is the person you're waiting for? One is me, and the other is already here. There's another one on the way. He should be arriving soon, Little Helper said. One is already here? Who is it? It's that ghost in your backyard, Little Helper said. Diwu, why do you want him to come along? Sima Yue asked curiously. Master said that he would be of great use in that place, Little Helper said. Sima Yue calculated in her heart. It seemed like the timing of Di Wu's arrival wasn't a coincidence. And the other man you spoke of? She asked. The other person is your old friend. Master sent someone to look for him, and he has already agreed to come and help, Little Helper said. My old friend? Who is it? Sima Yue thought for a while. Her only old friends were Qin Mo and Third Mo. Of course it's me. Third Mo's voice came from outside. Then that unrestrained figure walked in. Shameless Third, it's really you. Sima Yue looked at Third Mo in surprise. Of course. Third Mo walked over and patted her shoulder. How can I not come when you have something on? Hee, thank you. Sima Yue punched Third Mo's chest with her fist. She turned to look at Xiao Tong and asked, But why must he come along? Master said that he is the best at searching for spirits. Only with him can we guarantee your father's rescue, the Little Helper said. Seeking spirits? I can do that too. Since Master said so, he naturally has his reasons, the Little Helper said. All right. Then why do we need Diwu as well? Sima Yue asked. With it, we can go to that place. My father is in the ghost realm. You can say so, the Little Helper continued. Do you know that there's actually a place where the ghost realm and the human realm intersect? Sima Yue frowned. Why hadn't she heard of this place? Ghost City? Third Mo said. Yes. Isn't that a place in legends? No, it's real. The little helper continued. But because it's not here, people don't know about it. Where exactly is the ghost city? At the place where the human realm and the ghost realm intersect. The little helper continued. I don't know the exact location. You said this just now. Third Mo continued. Where exactly is the place where the human realm and the ghost realm intersect? I don't know either. The little helper shrugged with an innocent look. You're a divinator. Your master is Yin Lin. How can you not know? Third Mo stared at the little helper. Master didn't say where it is. He only said that the ghost clan knows. The little helper said. Then let's call that ghost clan over and ask. Wait a minute. Sima Yue stopped the two of them. Since when did the ghost realm and the human realm intersect? Didn't the soul automatically go to the ghost realm after death, but the people from the ghost realm can't come over? If there's a place where they intersect, why would something like this happen in Fair Eastern City? That's because although the ghost city is the place where the human realm and the ghost realm intersect, it's harder than ascending to heaven to come out from there. The ghost clan would rather choose a method like Fair Eastern City than to come from the ghost city. Third Mo said. Why? There's a good path. Why must they use such a method? There's a lightning tribulation guarding there. And the human clan. The little helper explained. Then let's find another way. Sima Yue said. It was almost impossible for the ghost clan to pass through the lightning tribulation. Not to mention that even if they passed through the lightning tribulation, there were still humans guarding outside. Seeing the injured ghost clan, the human clan went up to kill them. It's not that no one has come here before. It's just that it's extremely rare in history. Then can the human clan pass through there freely? Sima Yue asked. If the human clan wants to go over, they still have to go through the lightning tribulation. The little helper continued. However, the ghost clan would still dig some passageways from time to time. But if the living human clan wants to go to the ghost realm, they can only go through there. No matter where the person died, the soul would automatically enter the ghost realm. But if the living wanted to enter the ghost realm, they could only go through the ghost city. That's why father wanted to go to the ghost realm to find mother back then, so he went to the ghost city. But how did he know the address of the ghost city? Sima Yue had some doubts. But this question could only be answered when they found him. If your parents really wanted to go through this place to find your mother, then they might be trapped there. Third Mo continued. Although your two uncles have been looking for him for so long, if they don't know about the ghost city, then naturally they wouldn't be able to find him. It's highly possible. Sima Yue continued. Follow me, we'll ask Diwu where the ghost city is. We'll also ask the uncles if they know about the ghost city. The three of them went to the backyard. Bai Sheng, Feng Kai and the rest were all there. They were circling around Diwu while rubbing their chins. Is he really from the ghost clan? Why can't I sense any aura from him? Diwu smiled proudly. Sima Yue walked over and said, Diwu, you can stay. Really? Young miss, you agree? Diwu was so happy that he danced for joy. Shimen Feng and the rest were curious about Sima Yue's sudden change. Why did she change after going out for a trip? I agree. Sima Yue continued. But I have a request. Young miss, as long as you don't chase me back, not to mention one, even 8 or 10 wouldn't be a problem. If you want to follow me, then you have to listen to me. If I say 1, you can't say 2. If I say east, you can't go west. If I say stop, you can't walk. Can you do that? This book came from Chapter 1295. Diwu was stunned when he heard Sima Yue's request. Sima Yue's face darkened. Why? You can't do it? If you can't do it, then go back. No, it's not impossible. Diwu quickly denied. I'm just surprised. What are you surprised about? When I came here, Master had told me that I must listen to Mrs. words. If you say 1, I will not say 2. If you tell me to go east, I will not go west. I'm just surprised that Mrs. words are the same as Master's. Diwu said. Cousin said so too? Sima Yue felt warmth in her heart. Since cousin said so, will you be obedient? Of course I'll listen to miss. If you say one, I won't say two. If you tell me to go east, I won't go west. Diwu said. You said it yourself. Sima Yue said. And then, Diwu nodded, indicating that he would definitely be obedient. Great-granddaughter, why did you let him follow you again? Sima Zhiyuan didn't approve of it. The ghost clan was a hidden danger by her side. Shimin Feng and Sima Luyan also looked at her disapprovingly. Great-grandfather, don't worry, I have a use for him. Sima Yue said. Xiao Tong said that only he can lead us to father. What? Really? Everyone looked at little helper and Diwu. Could he bring them to her father? Great-granddaughter, are you sure? If you don't believe Xiao Tong, you should believe his master Yinlin. Sima Yue said. Then where is your father now? Sima Lufeng asked. Ghost City. Sima Yue said. Diwu, do you know where Ghost City is? Ghost City. Diwu almost jumped up from the shock. It seems like you know about it. Sima Yue said. You know how to get there, right? Diwu's expression turned ugly. He looked at Sima Yue with difficulty and said, Miss, this Ghost City isn't an ordinary place. Do you really want to go? You have to go, Sima Yue said firmly. But that place is very dangerous. My father is trapped there. Sima Yue said. You just said that you would listen to me. Diwu was silent. Great-granddaughter, is your father really in Ghost City? Sima Zhiyuan's eyebrows were furrowed. It seemed like he knew about Ghost City. Patriarch, you know about Ghost City? Sima Lufeng asked. I've heard of it before, but I always thought that it was just a legend. Sima Zhiyuan said. I didn't think that he would actually go to that place. Where is that? Sima Luyan asked. After so many years of searching, if they couldn't find the right direction, then wouldn't it be useless? That's the place where the human realm and the ghost realm intersect, but not many people know about it. Sima Zhiyuan said. Even I thought that it was just a legend. I didn't think that it really exists. How is that place dangerous? Sima Lufeng asked. The people who live there are all dark spirit masters or people from the ghost clan. You can imagine what life is like there. Most people who go there don't come out alive. Diwu said. They are all dark attribute spirit masters. I also heard it from Master. Master said that he heard it from your mother. Diwu said. As for where your mother found out about it, I don't know. There's no way out? Sima Yue felt a little heartache for her father. Since he knew about that place, he definitely knew how dangerous it was. Even so, in order to find her mother, he had to go there without hesitation. Yue, when are you going? We want to go too. Sima Lufeng said. That place is very dangerous. It might not be a good thing if there are too many people. Diwu said. You guys aren't dark attribute spirit masters. You might cause trouble if you go. But if only a few of you go, we won't be at ease. Sima Zhiyuan disagreed. Why don't you let us go to the little realm? Sima Lufeng said. If we don't follow you, we won't be at ease. Sima Yue was silent for a while, then said, That's fine too. I'll go with you too. Shimin Feng said. Sima Yue shook her head, saying, Feng, or you and the people from Heartbreak Valley can't go. Why? You guys still have your own things to do. I don't know how long I'll be gone this time. Heartbreak Valley needs you guys to hold down the fort. We can start devouring their economy. Sima Yue said. If you guys go, who will do all this? But I'm worried. Shimin Feng said. There are people from Blood Fiend City with me. What's there to be worried about? Sima Yue said. But, Feng, don't worry, I'll be fine. Sima Yue said. We need you for the things here. Shimin Feng saw her determined attitude and could only agree in the end. Then be careful. We'll wait for you to come back in Heartbreak Valley. Don't worry, I'll go back. Sima Yue said. Shimin Feng looked at Wu Lingyu saying, You have to protect her well. Of course. I want to go too. Sima Zhiyuan said. No. Sima Yue rejected immediately. Why? Sima Zhiyuan was hurt. Why did she reject him immediately? Sima Yue saw his big reaction, went forward and held his hand, smiling. Great-grandfather, we don't know how long we'll be delayed in Ghost City. You're the patriarch of the family. There are so many things going on in the family now. If you go, what if something big happens and we can't find you? This was the first time Sima Yue was close to him. That kind of closeness made him happy, but her words made him unhappy. Patriarch, I also think it's not appropriate for you to go. Sima Lufeng said, seeing Sima Zhiyuan staring over, he shrunk his neck. Patriarch, the matter between the family and the Gu family has reached its climax, right? Sima Luyan said. You two brats. Sima Zhiyuan was furious. Why did these two fellows follow Sima Yue and not let him go? Patriarch, we're just speaking the truth. Sima Luyan had a certain amount of resistance to his pressure. He didn't shrink back like Sima Lufeng. Sima Zhiyuan knew that the time wasn't right, but he still wanted to go together. But seeing that Yu wasn't willing, he sighed and said, all right. But you can't go just like that. Then how are we going to go? Sima Lufeng asked. Go to one side and stay there. Sima Zhiyuan glared at him again. He turned around and continued. I'll get Xiuqi and the others to come with you. Sima Lufeng and Sima Luyan were surprised. Uncle and the others are back? Who is Xiuqi? Sima Yue asked. Your grandfather, Sima Xiuqi. This book came from. Chapter 1296. It was Sima Yue's first time hearing about her grandfather. She was shocked. None of them had mentioned her grandfather before. She thought they were no longer in this world. Now that she suddenly heard their news, she was still a little stunned. Grandpa and Grandma. Sima Yue frowned slightly. Do you want them to go with us? They have been searching for Lu Xian outside. I can contact them and ask them to come here. Sima Zhiyuan said. I'm worried about letting these two little fellows accompany you. Two little guys, Sima Lufeng and Sima Luyan were speechless, but they couldn't refute. Ahem. Sima Yue tried her best to suppress her emotions, so that she would not laugh out loud. These two little fellows were already a few hundred years old. To be called little fellows by others, they probably hadn't experienced it for a long time. Cough cough, Patriarch, how long will it take for Uncle and the rest to get here? Sima Luyan changed the topic. I haven't told them about Yue. If they knew that you were back, they would have rushed back immediately, let alone knowing where your father is. Sima Zhiyuan said. Grandfather grandfather. Sima Yue thought of Sima Lai. They had been in closed-door cultivation recently, because they felt that they were unable to keep up with her pace. They wanted to be with her because their love for her made them not want to hold her back. To be honest, she knew that she would be a little afraid of unfamiliar feelings, just like how she was against Sima Luyan and Sima Lufeng in the beginning, and how she would subconsciously refute Sima Zhiyuan's words when she saw him. However, after interacting with them for real, she would quickly accept them because she had slowly accepted these feelings. Now there was another person who was related to her by blood, but had never met before. She didn't know if she could handle it well. Sima Luyan patted her shoulder and said, if Uncle and Aunt knew that you're back, they would be very happy. Don't worry. Yes. Sima Yue responded softly. She was looking forward to the arrival of her grandparents, but she was also worried. While she was waiting, she wanted Shimen Feng and others to go back earlier, but they insisted that she should go back after she left, and at the same time meet her grandparents. Sima Yue wanted Fatty Chu and the rest to go back, because they were not strong enough. If they went back, they would be in danger. This made them feel very depressed. The distance between them was really getting further and further, but in the end, they still followed along, but promised to stay in the Spirit Pagoda. While she was waiting, the Union sent her some news and told her some news about the Union Alliance. Today, she and Wu Lingyu were enjoying a rare moment together in the courtyard. Shimenfeng, Bai Sheng and the others went out to deal with Heartbreak Valley's matters, and Sima Zhiyuan also brought the two little guys out. In order to follow her and catch up with her, Fatty Chu and the rest had already found an excuse to go into closed-door cultivation in the Spirit Pagoda. The two of them chatted casually as they sipped their tea. How rare. I finally have time to be alone. Sima Yue saw him complaining and pursed her lips into a smile. This guy finally couldn't hold it in anymore. Wu Lingyu saw her smile and pursed his lips slightly, saying, "Don't you think so? It'll be fine after a while." Sima Yue chuckled. "There are many people now, so I neglected you. Don't be calculative." Calculative? Wu Lingyu's body leaned forward. He was originally sitting beside Sima Yue. So in this way, this person leaned towards her. His mouth breathed softly in her ear, his voice bewitching. "I'm not calculative. I hope you can find your parents soon. Then we can get married earlier, and I can eat you earlier." Sima Yue couldn't help but blush. She reached out and pushed his head away, changing the topic, asking, "When you see grandfather and the rest, do you have to pass another test?" "That's really not something I like to do." Wu Lingyu was pushed away by her, so he leaned forward again and played with her fingers with his slender fingers. Sima Yue was too lazy to push him away this time, so she allowed him to play with her fingers. "Speaking of which, how did you deal with great-grandfather last time? I remember that when I left, the two of you were still at loggerheads. When I returned, the two of you were already talking and laughing together. This is a little secret between men." There was such a thing as a little secret between men. "I remember that grandfather and my brothers didn't like you very much back then, but they accepted you later. Is this also your little secret? Your great-grandfather is much more difficult to deal with than your grandfather and your brothers. I believe that it won't be so easy for you to deal with my parents." Sima Yue laughed. "It's troublesome to have too many relatives." Wu Lingyu said, "Look, it's so good to be like me. I don't have any relatives, so you don't have to face so many things. And the only one I'm related to is Master. But that old man likes you more than me. Maybe he'll stand on your side and test me when the time comes. Master has been gone for so many years. Are we really not going to look for him?" Sima Yue played with the teacup with her other hand. She was worried about Old Man Devil's safety. His life jade is fine. Even if he doesn't find him, he won't have a bad life. Wu Lingyu said. "When Master comes back, Senior Uncle and the others will definitely flip out. He's been ignoring the matters in the valley for so long," Sima Yue said. "He's always been like that. The people in the valley are already used to it." Wu Lingyu said, "If you're worried about him, you can contact your Aunt Feng. Her soul imprint is different from others. You can contact her directly. Previously, it was her subordinates who sent people to get the pills. Unless it's absolutely necessary, I don't want to contact Aunt Feng. I always feel that once I contact her, I'll enter another world that I don't know about. I don't think I'm ready to enter that world yet," Sima Yue said. "That's true. It's indeed a little early for you to know," Wu Lingyu said. "Sometimes I really feel that I'm too weak. I'm so far away from your world. I've tried my best to improve myself. I want to enter your world as soon as possible, but I realize that it's still so far away," Sima Yue said sadly. "You've already improved at lightning speed," Wu Lingyu said. "I'll wait for you in front. You can walk over slowly. I'll keep up with your footsteps," Sima Yue said. She turned her head and looked at the beautiful face leaning on her shoulder with a face full of attachment. She helplessly rolled her eyes. "You are a dignified devil king of the devil realm. Is it really okay for you to do this?" Chapter 1297. Although her words were full of disdain, the expression on her face was full of affection. "I like the smell on your body." Wu Lingyu did not feel embarrassed at all. "If your subordinates find out about this, the image that you have built up over hundreds of thousands of years will be destroyed." The image that I've built up over the years will also be destroyed," Sima Yue said playfully as she stretched out a hand and flicked his forehead. Wu Lingyu sat up straight, took her hand, and pulled her into his arms. Sima Yue took the opportunity to sit on his lap. She leaned back and leaned on him. He hugged her and rested his head on her shoulder. Yu. Sima Yue waited for a while, but he did not say anything. She turned to look at him. "What happened?" "It's nothing." "That's not like you." Sima Yue played with his fingers. "Are you worried about meeting my grandparents or the upcoming trip to Ghost City? If possible, I really hope you don't go to Ghost City. It's too dangerous there." Wu Lingyu said. But I know that it's impossible for you not to go now. Sima Yue turned around and placed her hands on his shoulders. You weren't this worried about what I wanted to do in the past. What happened this time? Ghost City is not a place that humans can easily touch. Wu Lingyu said. I have a feeling that I will fall into a coma again and lose my power. What if I can't protect you if you are there? However, Sima Yue's attention was not on this. She grabbed his hand to check and asked, Was the last time you fainted in Wonderland? Wu Lingyu hesitated for 2 seconds. She stared sharply into his eyes and said, You even fainted in between? Wu Lingyu pulled his hand away and said, Don't worry, it'll only happen once or twice. Something's not right. Sima Yue grabbed his hand again and examined it. When have I ever lied to you? It really happened once or twice. Wu Lingyu saw that she was a little flustered and smiled. I'm not saying that this is wrong, Sima Yue said. Logically speaking, your soul should have fused better after you went into hibernation. But why is your soul weaker than the last time I checked your pulse? I'm just a little bit weaker. You even noticed that. Your medical skills are getting better and better, Wu Lingyu said. Sima Yue held his face with both hands, preventing him from turning around. She said sternly, Don't try to fool me. Tell me, when did it start? 2 years after I went to the devil world. Wu Lingyu answered honestly. What did you experience in the demon realm? Actually, it's nothing. It's all about fighting and killing and recruiting. You injured your soul back then. Sima Yue said, or rather, it's because of your soul that you were injured, and then your soul was injured. She became more and more agitated as she spoke. Her hands that were grabbing onto him were trembling, and her eyes were filled with self-blame. Wu Lingyu wrapped one hand around her waist and caressed her face with the other, saying, It's all right, don't blame yourself. I'm fine. If you didn't cancel the contract because of me, how would it? Sima Yue's eyes turned red. If I had caused you to be injured, I would blame myself for the rest of my life. Wu Lingyu said, Moreover, a man shouldn't let a woman get hurt because of a man. But these words were completely useless to her. Apart from blaming herself, she was also trying to recall if there were any similar situations in the medical books that she had studied before. Wu Lingyu tightened his grip on her waist and pulled her consciousness back. He covered her lips and nibbled lightly as punishment for her disobedience. But once he touched her lips, he couldn't control himself and wanted to take more. Only by letting himself go deeper could he comfort himself with his current thoughts. Oh, someone's coming. Sima Yue felt someone walking towards the courtyard and tapped his shoulder lightly. Wu Lingyu left her lips and their lips parted, leaving behind an ambiguous silver thread. I really wanted you on the spot. He pressed his forehead against hers, his voice hoarse because he was suppressing himself. Sima Yue patted his shoulder and got off him, saying, All right, someone's really coming. Wu Lingyu pulled her hand and let her sit in her seat. The tea on the table had already turned cold. Sima Yue waved her hand and the tea set disappeared, and a new set appeared in its place. While she was still boiling the water, Sima Zhiyuan walked in with an unfamiliar man and woman. Once they saw Sima Yue, the two of them quickened their pace and walked over. Looks like your grandfather and parents are here. Do you need me to leave? Wu Lingyu asked. No need. You have to see them anyway, Sima Yue said. Patriarch, is this Xianer's child? The woman came in front of Sima Yue and looked at her excitedly, not knowing what to do. Child, I'm your grandmother. Grandmother. Sima Yue glanced at Sima Zhiyuan subconsciously. Seeing that he didn't deny it, she knew that these two people were indeed her grandfather and grandmother. Yue, my child. Huang Yingying stepped forward and hugged Sima Yue. After a while, she let go of her and touched her face. Her lips trembled. Although you look like your mother, you still resemble your father a little. Sima Yue was touched by the warmth in her eyes. All along, most of her family members were men. Although there were third mother and auntie, they were not direct blood relatives. Now that she saw Huang Yingying, she felt different. Yue, this is your grandfather. Huang Yingying pulled Sima Xiuqi, who hadn't opened his mouth since he came in, and introduced him to her. Sima Yue looked at Sima Xiuqi. Her real grandfather was indeed handsome. She had never seen her father before, and didn't know if he looked like him. However, he looked quite similar to Sima Ji Yuan. But he looked much more serious than her great-grandfather. He didn't have much of a smile on his face. If it wasn't for the joy in his eyes, she would have thought that he was unhappy with her. "Grandfather," she called out. "Don't pull a long face. Yue is about to be frightened by you." The only person who dared to scold Sima Xiuqi like this was his father. Seeing that Sima Yue was indeed a little frightened, he eased the expression on his face and tugged the corner of his mouth. "It's good that you're back." What an elder's way of greeting her. Sima Yue pulled him over. "Grandfather, grandmother, let me introduce you. This is my senior brother Wu Lingyu, the holy son of the Sage Pavilion. He is also my boyfriend." Sima Xiuqi's originally calm face was immediately filled with anger after hearing the last sentence. He stared at Wu Lingyu and said, "Boyfriend?" Chapter 1298. Don't be so surprised, he's a boyfriend. He's someone who will be married in the future. Sima Jiyuan said. "I can guess what that means." Sima Xiuqi stared at Sima Yoyue's hand that was holding onto Wu Lingyu's arm. His gaze seemed to want to drill a hole through Wu Lingyu's arm. "Wu Lingyu? Come here." Wu Lingyu stepped forward. Sima Yue saw that Sima Xiuqi's expression was ugly and subconsciously pulled his arm. "It's okay." Wu Lingyu patted her hand to comfort her. "Grandfather, let's talk about it later." Sima Yue said. Huang Yingying slapped Sima Xiuqi and said, "Look at the situation now. What if you scare your granddaughter?" "I haven't done anything yet." Sima Xiuqi argued. How could this scare his granddaughter? "Great-grandfather, grandfather, grandmother, since you're here, let's go to Ghost City," Sima Yue said. Once he thought about his son who had been missing for over 50 years, Sima Xiuqi temporarily let Wu Lingyu off and said, "This Ghost City isn't a place where we can go just because we want to. It's better if we make some preparations first." "I've prepared everything," Sima Yue said. "We can leave after Grandpa and Grandma have a good rest." "Are you ready?" "Yes," Sima Yue said. "When I was waiting for you guys, I asked Di Wu to prepare everything that could be prepared." Actually, what Di Wu said was very simple. She just needed to prepare more elixirs, spirit tools, and array formation stones, especially elixirs. Because that place was filled with darkness, spirit force, and death aura. It was troublesome to recover spirit force after consuming it. The only way was to rely on pills. However, he did not know that Sima Yue had the Little Realm and the Spirit Pagoda. With these two things, she would be able to recover as long as she returned to the Little Realm. But just in case, she still prepared more of the things that Di Wu mentioned. "Since you've prepared everything, let's set off now. The earlier we go, the earlier we can find your father," Huang Yingying said. "If you don't have any objections, then it's fine if we go earlier. I'll gather everyone and leave immediately," Sima Yue said. "All right. You go first." Sima Yue pulled Wu Lingyu out to look for Third Mo and Di Wu. Seeing their backs as they left, Sima Jiyuan smiled and nodded, saying, "The two of them are really compatible. Their backs are very pleasing to the eye." Sima Xiuqi was unhappy as he pulled a long face and said, "Patriarch, why did you agree to them being together? Yu is a child of the Sima family. How can you be together with someone from the Sage Pavilion? Then can you separate them? Let's see if Yue will fall out with you. I dare to bet that if you dare to go, Yue will immediately take her away," Sima Jiyuan said. Someone who even the patriarch praised would naturally not be bad. Huang Yingying said, "Since the patriarch has no objections, you don't have to be so calculative about his identity." "That's right." Sima Jiyuan glanced at him and said, "Yue is amenable to coaxing but not coercion. As long as she acknowledges you, she will treat you wholeheartedly. If you go against her, be careful that she won't acknowledge you in the future. I spent a lot of effort to get her to acknowledge me, but I didn't manage to get her to acknowledge our family. That's why she still hasn't expressed her willingness to go back. We are her closest kin. How dare she not go back with us? Threats are of no use to her. I've understood her personality during this period of time. We can't use force on her, we can only use kinship to influence her. So you guys have to be more careful on the way. Other than protecting her safety, you have to try to influence her and make her return to the family. Sima Jiyuan reminded. We understand. This ghost city has always existed in legends. We've never seen it before, and have never come into contact with it. That's why we don't know what's going on inside. You guys have to be careful when you go there. If you bring Yue there, you have to bring her back. We will, Patriarch. Sima Xiuqi replied. The Patriarch didn't feel it in the past, but he seemed to have become a little naggy now. When there are no outsiders around, you should call me father, Sima Jiyuan said. Sima Xiuqi and Huang Yingying were stunned. Ever since he became the Patriarch, everyone in the family had to call him Patriarch. Even his own son and daughter-in-law couldn't. They had been calling him that for so many years. Why did he suddenly think of calling him that? Yu is right. The title of Patriarch will increase the distance between us. It will make us feel less close. So when there are no outsiders around, you should call me father. Yes, father. Sima Yue brought third Mo, Di Wu and the others in. Behind them were Sima Lu Yin and Sima Lu Feng. Behind them were Shimen Feng and the others who came to send them off. All right, everyone is here. Let's get ready to go, Sima Yue said. Sima Xiuqi saw that there weren't many people including them. He frowned and said, Isn't it a little too little to bring so few people? When they were waiting, Sima Jiyuan told them how dangerous Ghost City was. But if they only brought so few people, wouldn't they be sending themselves to their deaths? Grandmother, you're mistaken. We're not going with these people, Sima Yue said. Then how many are there? We'll be more confident if we bring more people, Huang Yingying said. Grandmother, it's not like that, Sima Yue said. Feng and Old Bai are here to send me off. They're not going. Not going? Yes, Sima Yue explained. Lin said that third Mo, Little Tong and Di Wu are enough to follow me. But great-grandfather was worried, so he asked you to come with us. Otherwise, there will be fewer people. Can we handle it with just the few of us going? It wasn't that Huang Yingying wasn't confident in her own abilities. But when Sima Jiyuan instructed them just now, they understood how dangerous Ghost City was. Grandmother, don't worry. It's not just the few of us, Sima Yue said. It's just that we're the ones who have to go on this journey. She didn't explicitly say that the people from Blood Fiend City would go together. But when she said that many people would go together, Sima Jiyuan didn't refute, which meant that it was true. Sima Xiuqi and Huang Yingying were relieved and said, Those people have already gone ahead? Then let's go too. Sima Yue turned back to look at Shimen Feng. Shimen Feng went forward and hugged her, saying, We'll wait for you at Heartbreak Valley. If you don't come back, I'll definitely bring people to kill them. Sima Yue saw the fear and worry in his eyes and smiled. Don't worry, I'll definitely come back with my father. You guys can do whatever you need to do in the valley. I hope that I can hear good news when I come back. All right. We will definitely. Take this. Sima Yue placed her life jade in Shimen Feng's hand. Sima Jiyuan was unhappy and pulled a long face. Chapter 1299. Since Sima Yue had given her life jade to Shimen Feng, the Sima family wouldn't know anything about her. The moment he got angry, the entire atmosphere changed. Sima Yue understood his thoughts and went up to hold his hand, saying, Great-grandfather, you have grandfather and grandmother's life tablets. If anything happened to them, Sima Xiuqi's life token would know. But that's not yours. Sima Jiyuan said. Great-grandfather, it doesn't matter who it is. Sima Yue held his hand and said coquettishly, No matter what, I'm still the Vice Valley Lord here. They have to have news about me too. You can't let grandfather and the others leave their life tablets in Heartbreak Valley and leave mine here with you, right? That's nothing, no. All right, it's settled then. Sima Yue said. Great-grandfather, we're already on our way. You can't expect me to leave in a huff, right? Sima Jiyuan saw her smiling coquettishly at him and didn't want to make her unhappy, so he said helplessly, All right then. I'll listen to you this time. You have to be good. I'll definitely be fine. Sima Yue quickly replied. Come back to the clan after we rescue your father. Sima Ji Yuan said. If you are worried about Heartbreak Valley, you can let them go to the inner region with you. Great-grandfather, they are doing well in Heartbreak Valley. Sima Yue said. The terrain of Heartbreak Valley is dangerous, and there is poisonous miasma as a natural barrier. It is better for the disciples in the valley who have many enemies. As for me, I'll wait until I find my father. She didn't say anything definite, which meant that she might go back or not. Everything depended on Sima Lu Xian's situation. Sima Ji Yuan had always known her position, and knew that it was useless to rush her. He patted her shoulder and said, Then you must save your father. I'll wait for you at home. I definitely will. Great-grandfather, don't worry. Sima Xiuqi and Huang Yingying looked at each other when they saw their interaction. Father really doted on Yue. She was probably the only one in the family who could be so intimate with her. Woof woof woof. A few barks startled everyone present. They actually didn't notice any spirit beasts approaching. Xiao He ran out of nowhere, and came to Sima Yue with a piccolo in his mouth. Sima Yue squatted down and patted its head. Where have you been these past few days? Woof woof woof. Little Black placed the piccolo in its mouth into her hand and called out twice to please her. What is this? Sima Yue looked at the piccolo. It was about 10 centimeters long and had a milky white body. There was a small skull on the edge of the piccolo, and it felt cold in her palm. Diwu jumped in fright when he saw the short flute. He shouted, Bone flute. Bone flute? What's this? Sima Yue tilted her head and asked. It's a very famous underworld artifact in the ghost realm. The sound of the flute can control a person's soul. It was one of the top 10 underworld artifacts in the ghost realm. If I didn't guess wrongly, the incident in Fair Eastern City was caused by someone who used the ghost flute to attack your people in the air, and opened up the passage. Diwu said. That's it. Sima Yue looked at the bone flute in her hand. Speaking of which, there was indeed a flute sound in Fair Eastern City's incident. It was played by this thing? That should be it. Diwu continued. Don't let anyone know that the bone flute is with you. Otherwise, those people in the ghost realm will find trouble with you again. Is it that attractive? Sima Yue asked. Why not? Ghost realm's top 10 underworld artifacts, 100 Ghosts banner, bone flute, God vanquishing seal are all ranked at the top. The appearance of any underworld artifact will cause the entire ghost realm to fight for it, and cause a bloody storm. So powerful. Sima Yue laughed. She loved treasures. Woof woof woof. Seeing Sima Yue happy, Little Black was happy too. Sima Yue kept the bone flute and carried Little Black. The previous owner must have been struck to death by the lightning tribulation, and left this here. Little Black, you specially went to find it for me, right? Woof woof woof. Little Black wagged its tail happily. I'll study this eye properly when I'm free. Alright, we're leaving. She took out a one-time use array and said to everyone, Be careful. Shimin Feng warned. Boss, I believe that you guys will be able to come back safely. Feng Kai said. We'll settle the matters here properly. You go out, don't worry about this place. Baixing said. Sima Yue looked at them and nodded. She activated the array and everyone walked in. The array's light surrounded them and they disappeared quickly. If Heartbreak Valley has any trouble, you can take this and find me. Sima Ji Yuan placed a jade pendant in Shimin Feng's hand. You guys should know how to find it, right? Yes, Shimin Feng said. She's gone. I'll help her take care of you guys. Since you know, I won't say more. After speaking, he opened a space tunnel and walked in. Baisheng saw that Shimin Feng was worried and said, Don't worry, we know Yu's ability, nothing will happen. Moreover, there are so many people from Blood Fiend City. Let's go, it's time to deal with Yin Yang Palace and Zhongzheng clan. This array was made by Sima Yue while she was waiting for Fang Ming to make it. The distance this time was too far, and she was unable to set up such a long-distance array. Although Fang Ming was curious about her sudden trip to the southern wasteland, he didn't ask much and quickly set up the array for her. In the southern part of the southern wasteland, there was an endless swamp. It was known as the biggest and most dangerous swamp in the central regions. It was said that the swamp mud here was very light but extremely sticky. If one entered the swamp, it would be hard to come out. In a space somewhere in the swamp, an array exit suddenly appeared and Sima Yue and the others came out from it. Sima Xiuqi recognized it after a few glances and said, "Yes, this is the Southern Wasteland Swamp." Southern Wasteland Swamp? How did we come here? Sima Lufeng and the others knew about this place, but they didn't expect to come here so quickly. Ghost City is here? Sima Luyun frowned. I asked President Fong to set up the array according to the coordinates given by Yinlin. It should be correct, Sima Yue said. Master said that Ghost City will set off from the Southern Wasteland Swamp. Little Helper confirmed the accuracy of this place. But we've been here before and didn't find anything special, Sima Lufeng said. In order to find Sima Lu Xian, they went to many places and the Southern Wasteland Swamp was one of them. When they came here before, they didn't find anything special about this place. Since Little Helper knows, then lead the way. Who knew that Little Helper shook his head and said, I don't know the way behind. Chapter 1300. You don't know? Then how do we get to Ghost City? Sima Lufeng asked. Little Helper looked at Di Wu and said, He'll lead the rest of the way. Me? Di Wu pointed at his nose in surprise. I don't know where Ghost City is. Everyone was speechless. So, no one knew where Ghost City was? They thought Little Helper knew. Little Helper thought Di Wu knew, but in the end no one knew. Both of you don't know how to get to Ghost City? Sima Yue asked. Master said he knows. Little Helper said. I've never been there, I've only heard of it. Di Wu said innocently. Your master knows it's at this place, didn't he say the exact place? Little Helper shook his head. Yinlin really didn't say. Then what do we do now? Everyone looked at each other, they didn't know what to do. Little Helper, why did your master say Di Wu knows? Sima Yue asked. Didn't he say Di Wu knows? Did he say the reason? Little Helper said. Didn't Di Wu say he's heard of it? Maybe the place you've heard of is it. Wu Lingyu said. Let me think. Di Wu continued. I've heard of it a long time ago. I've heard of a saying before. When the sun sets in the west, humans and ghosts are connected. Could it be related to this? Sima Xiuqi said. West Mountain. Right. The legendary Ghost City seems to be at West Mountain. Di Wu shouted. This West Mountain is the human realm's West Mountain. It shouldn't be related to Ghost Realm, right? No, Ghost Realm has a mountain called West Mountain too. Di Wu said confidently. But there's no mountain called West Mountain here. Sima Luyun continued. We came here to search before, we thought he might have come here, but we didn't find him after looking around. We knew there's no West Mountain here then. Whether there's one or not, we'll know after asking a spirit beast. Sima Xiuqi said and sucked down. A spirit beast hiding in the swamp was sucked out. Spare me. Spare me. The little loach twisted its body in the air and cried out loudly. Don't shout. We don't want your life. Sima Xiuqi said. Let me ask you, is there a place called West Mountain in the Southern Wasteland Swamp? When the little loach heard that it was not going to die, it immediately quieted down. Hearing Matthew's words, he thought for a moment, then said, No. There is no place called West Mountain in the Southern Wasteland Swamp. Really? No, Little Loach said with certainty. Could it be that you know there's no one near you? Our spirit beasts move around quite frequently. If there are any, we'll definitely know. There's definitely no such place as the West Mountain, Little Loach said. Sima Xiuqi saw that he was quite honest, so he let him go. He also caught a few spirit beasts to ask, and the results were the same. Seems like there really isn't a Western Mountain. Di Wu said. Sima Yue looked at the mountains in the distance. It was sunset now. The sun was between two mountains and was slowly sinking. Sunset West Mountain. Could this West Mountain not be the name of a mountain range, but a mountain range in the west? Mountain range in the west? Huang Yingying followed Sima Yue's gaze, and also saw the sun sinking in the west. That's not quite possible, right? Sima Lufeng said. The mountain we're looking at now is the west. What if we're not standing at this position? If we're standing at the west of this mountain, then this mountain would be east of us. It seemed reasonable for him to say that. However, Sima Yue did not think so. She looked at those few mountains and felt that it was more and more similar. Since we don't have any other ideas, why don't we go there and try? Wu Lingyu suggested. That's true. Don't go there. The little loach from before suddenly stuck its head out from the mud. That place is very strange. Spirit beasts often go missing there. It's very dangerous. Oh. Little Loach's words immediately attracted their attention. Those two mountains don't seem to be anything special? Why is it so dangerous? I know. Anyway, it's especially dangerous at this time every day, so we won't go near it at this time. Little Loach said. It won't happen at other times? No, it's usually 2 hours before and after sunset. Then you'll be very scared. The spirit beasts that go there will disappear as they walk. Little Loach said. We got it. Thank you, Little Loach. This is a thank you gift. Sima Yue took out a pill and threw it to Little Loach. Little Loach didn't know what this pill was, but it smelled very comfortable. It was definitely something good. So it took the pill and sank down again. According to what it said, it should be that place. Sima Luyan said. I didn't expect that the intersection between humans and ghosts would be in such an inconspicuous place. Let's go over. They flew towards those few mountains. They didn't expect that although it looked close, it was actually quite far away. When they reached there, the sun had already set. They had no choice but to wait until the next day. On this day, they circled around the mountain. In the end, they didn't see any spirit beasts. It proved that this place was unusual. On the second day, when the sun was about to set, they left the range of the mountain range and slowly flew towards the middle of the two mountains. Just as they passed through the middle of the two mountains, the scene in front of them changed. Previously, this place looked like a swamp, but now it was gray. There was no setting sun in the west, nor were there any green plants. They looked back. Although they could see the two mountains from before, it felt like they weren't in the same space. Did we come in? Should be. It's grayish everywhere. Where would Ghost City be? I know this. Diwu said. Didn't you say you didn't know? I didn't know how you people from the human realm came here. I knew when we came here. Diwu explained. Then how do we go? It's said that there's only one direction at the intersection between humans and ghosts. No matter where you go, you'll reach Ghost City. Diwu continued. The direction you go is Ghost City. Once you exit Ghost City, you'll go to another world. So magical? It was the first time Sima Yue heard about it. She felt that it was unbelievable. It seemed to be in all directions, but there was only one direction. That was strange. But in this special place, it wasn't unacceptable. So no matter where we go, we'll reach Ghost City. Then why did you say you know the way? Sima Lufeng rolled his eyes at him. That counts as knowing. Diwu retorted. If it wasn't for him, they wouldn't know. Then let's just find a random direction. Sima Yue bit her lips. Did father go there like this too? Reading background default setting classic light blue classic light gray classic green classic bright yellow dark blue ocean autumn abundant green elegant red powder aristocratic family red talk dense sea vast sky broken heart past snow white world gray world font color default setting white red green blue brown font size default setting small medium large speed 1234 567 8910 mouse scroll description 1 to 10 1 is the slowest 10 is the fastest. Chapter 1301. According to the book's current location, since every direction was the same, the few of them casually chose a direction. Sima Yue called Chongming out and got him to lead everyone. The gale in front of them made them unable to open their eyes. Chongming's speed decreased by quite a bit. Chongming, let's change direction. Sima Yue said. All right. Chongming replied and immediately changed direction. But it was the same even if they changed direction. The wind was still blowing towards them. There was no wind in other directions. It's no use. Huang Yingying said. Since every direction is in front, no matter which direction we go, the wind will be blowing towards us. Sima Xiuqi condensed his spirit energy. That spirit energy turned into a faint ripple and wrapped everyone, including Chongming. With this layer of protection, the wind's strength decreased by quite a bit. Let's continue, Sima Xiuqi said to Chongming. All right. The wind resistance decreased, their speed increased by quite a bit. When that layer of protection disappeared, Huang Yingying set up another one, then it was Sima Luyun and Sima Lufeng's turn, followed by Wu Lingyu. They took turns. The further they went, the stronger the wind. Chongming couldn't take it anymore. It was Little Rock's turn. Look, isn't it brighter over there? Little Helper looked at the sky in front and cried out in surprise. Seems like it. Are we going to pass through this place? Sima Yue said. Although they didn't encounter any danger on this journey, the strong gale almost made them exhausted. If it wasn't for the fact that they ate a lot of spirit energy recovery pills, even if they passed through this place, their spirit energy would have been depleted. Little Rock kept going forward. Suddenly the gale in front disappeared. The pressure also disappeared. It's gone. Diwu looked up at the sky. Without the pressure, their breathing became smoother. Seems like we passed. Sima Luyun said. The sky here is much brighter than the road in front. It's also much fresher. It's not so gray. Sima Yue said. Yes, there are plants here too. Other than the lack of sun, it's pretty much the same as outside. Little Rock flew forward for a distance, but suddenly fell down. You can't fly here. Little Rock said as he descended. Everyone, protect yourselves. If he fell from such a high place without any protection, he would probably be smashed to pieces. Fortunately, when they were a few dozen meters from the ground, Little Rock flapped its wings a few more times and rose up a few meters, reducing the speed and force of the fall, allowing everyone to land safely. There's a spatial restriction here, we can't fly. Sima Xiuqi looked at the sky. If they couldn't fly, then their journey would be very slow. Not only is there a spatial restriction here, there is also a gravitational pull. Do you feel that your feet are very heavy? Sima Xiuqi said. Yes, it does feel very heavy, Huang Yingying said. Sima Luyun and the others nodded. I think it's fine. I don't feel anything. After saying that, Little Tong raised his leg. It was indeed quite relaxing. I think it's fine too. Sima Yue took 2 steps. Although it was heavier than usual, it didn't affect them too much. Both of you seem to be more relaxed than us, Sima Lufeng said. Could it be that this is based on strength? The stronger you are, the heavier the gravitational pull. It's possible, Huang Yingying said. I can clearly feel that it's a little difficult to lift my feet. Same for me, Sima Xiuqi said. I don't feel anything. Third Mo, what about you? Diwu asked. Both my legs feel like they are filled with lead, Third Mo said. Seems like only Yue, Diwu and Little Tong are less affected by the gravitational pull. Sima Xiuqi walked a few meters forward. Something that usually took a few seconds took a few minutes. We can't go on like this. At this speed, we might not be able to walk out of this place in a few months. We have to think of a way to lessen the gravitational pull, Huang Yingying said. I have an idea, Sima Yue said. Since Little Tong, Diwu and I aren't affected, why don't we walk outside while you guys go into the Little Realm? Little Realm? Whose Little Realm? Huang Yingying asked. Mine. Sima Yue took out the little door and opened the door of the Little Realm. You guys go in first. Come out after you've passed this distance. As people from the inner regions, Sima Xiuqi and Huang Yingying weren't surprised to see the Little Realm. But they were surprised that she had a Little Realm. She had never relied on her clan. How is it? Sima Yue looked at everyone. This idea is not bad, Sima Luyun said. But if there's danger, wouldn't it be too slow for us to come out? In the end, he was worried about their safety. Don't worry. This Little Realm opens quickly. If something happens, it's not a problem for you guys to come out, Sima Yue said. Then we can only do this now. Everyone went into the Little Realm. Only Yue, Little Tong and Diwu were left. Sima Yue kept the Little Realm and said, It's just the 3 of us now. Let's go. There's no danger along the way. We just need to spend some time and energy, Little Tong said. With his words, Sima Yue and Diwu walked forward boldly. Just like what Little Tong said, they didn't encounter any danger along the way. It was just that they couldn't fly and could only walk. With the influence of gravity, it was a tough journey. On the way, they saw many skeletons. There were humans and spirit beasts. There were more spirit beasts than humans. Most of those spirit beasts should have entered here by mistake. They couldn't go back and could only walk forward. After walking here, they couldn't resist the influence of gravity and stayed here forever. This journey was considered treacherous. After walking for 2 months, they finally got out of the gravity zone. They went over a mountain. There was still gravity on this side of the mountain. After going over the mountain and reaching the other side, the gravity disappeared. Little Tong's body was weaker. After walking for a while, Sima Yue put him in the little realm. Only Di Wu and her were left. After walking for so long, we're finally out. Sima Yue heaved a sigh of relief. They couldn't fly and couldn't use powerful spirit beasts. They could only rely on their own 2 legs. It was a feeling that she hadn't experienced for many years. Let me bring them out first. Sima Yue just took out the small door and saw rolling black clouds whizzing over from afar. What's that? Di Wu shouted. The black clouds flew over quickly. When they got closer, they realized that it wasn't a black cloud. It was a black mass of flying beasts. These flying beasts were different from those in the human realm. Every one of them was extremely ugly and had red eyes. And underscore s equals point. And IP equals, and underscore s equals gbk. And d equals tanks smm underscore 1005796 underscore 1355616 underscore 53968 And underscore s equals true and underscore s / p / x I equals underscore 1005796 underscore 1355616 underscore 53968 And underscore h equals 0 and tanks underscore h underscore s tanks underscore h and underscore s equals point and IP equals and underscore s equals gbk and d equals tanks smm underscore 1005796 underscore 1355616 underscore 53982 and underscore s equals true and underscore s / p / x I equals underscore 1005796 underscore 1355616 underscore 53982 and underscore h equals 0 and tanks underscore h underscore s tanks underscore h and underscore s equals point and IP equals and underscore s equals gbk and d equals tanks smm underscore 1005796 underscore 1355616 underscore 53982 and underscore s equals true and underscore s / p / x I equals underscore 1005796 underscore 1355616 underscore 53982 and underscore h equals 0 and tanks underscore h underscore s tanks underscore. Remember after reading, for next time or time travel fan is dedicated to creating what girls love to see and providing the best for girls. Chapter 1302. Di Wu saw the approaching birds. He pulled Sima Yue and ran. Do you know what those birds are? Sima Yue asked as she ran. There's a type of bird in Ghost Realm called Underworld Fiend Bird. They look similar to this but their eyes aren't red. Are Underworld Fiend birds very powerful? They aren't powerful individually but there's a lot of them. Look at them, they almost covered the entire sky. Sima Yue turned back. The sky was covered in black. There was no need to think to know how many of them there were. We have to think of a way, Di Wu said. If not, we'll be in trouble if they catch up to us. What other way do we have now? Sima Yue took out a small door as she ran. She opened the small realm and ran in with Di Wu. Squeak squeak. Those underworld fiend birds were about to catch up to Sima Yue, but they disappeared in vain. They screamed angrily. Sima Yue looked at the dark sky outside because of the angry underworld fiend birds. She patted her chest and said, "Luckily we have a place to hide." "What's outside?" Wu Lingyu saw Sima Yue was still in shock. He went up to hold her hand and asked, "Underworld fiend birds that cover the sky," Sima Yue said. "There's actually underworld fiend birds here?" Wu Lingyu was astonished. "Isn't that only in Ghost Realm? They can actually survive in this place?" "They seem to have mutated. Their eyes are red," Sima Yue said. "Are those underworld fiend birds very powerful?" "They're not powerful individually, but when they gather together, they'll be hard to deal with," Diwu said. "Let's wait here," Sima Yue said. "Let's wait for those underworld fiend birds outside to leave. Then we'll have to wait," Wu Lingyu said. "These underworld fiend birds are quite intelligent. Since they saw you guys enter the small realm, they'll definitely be guarding outside. Then how long before they give up? Underworld fiend birds are very patient underworld beasts. They won't leave in a short time," Diwu said. "There's nothing we can do about it. We can only wait." "Well, since you can't go out, then just rest inside. It's been tough on you guys," Sima Lufeng said. "You do need a good rest. It's really tiring to walk all the way here." Sima Yue took out a special elixir for Diwu. Along the way, the two of them had to be vigilant to see if there was any danger, so they had used up a lot of their mental strength. Sima Yue went to rest, so the others could not see what was going on outside, so they could only wait patiently. 2 days later, Sima Yue, who was meditating, was awakened by the commotion outside. She called the others over, and with a thought, everyone could see the situation outside. Those underworld fiend birds didn't cover the entire mountain like before. Instead, they seemed to have been startled by something and flew off into the distance. What happened to those underworld fiend birds? Look at the sky, Sima Yue reminded. Dark clouds quickly gathered in the sky, as if someone was about to undergo a lightning tribulation. Someone is undergoing a lightning tribulation here? I heard that those who went to the human realm from the ghost realm would encounter a lightning tribulation after leaving the city. This should be someone from the ghost realm coming out from the city, Diwu guessed. That means this place shouldn't be far from the ghost city, Sima Lufeng said. It's good that someone is undergoing a lightning tribulation. At least those underworld fiend birds were scared away, Third Emo said. That's right. I thought we would have to wait here for 1 or 2 months. I didn't expect them to leave so quickly. Sima Yue was very happy. Those underworld fiend birds were scared away by the lightning tribulation. After the lightning tribulation, they could leave. We can also take a look at the level of the lightning tribulation here, Sima Lufeng continued. This will help us understand the situation here. The lightning tribulation clouds gathered quickly outside. It seemed like the person undergoing the lightning tribulation was in trouble. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to pass it. Could it be that the Almighty from the ghost realm wants to use this path to leave? Diwu saw the power of the lightning tribulation clouds and shivered in fear. If it's an Almighty, would they still use this path? Sima Yue said. People who reached that level would directly tear the space apart. For example, when Wu Lingyu went to the devil realm, and when Mou returned to the ghost realm. That's true. Such a powerful lightning tribulation. It's either the person undergoing the lightning tribulation has committed a heinous crime, or he's undergoing the lightning tribulation in a group. Sima Xiuqi continued. But no matter what, it's beneficial for our journey later on. That's right. The power of the lightning tribulation would deter the spirit beasts here. They wouldn't dare to act rashly. It would save them a lot of time and energy. Because the distance was too far, they didn't see who was undergoing the lightning tribulation. The lightning tribulation dispersed after striking for half a day. Sima Yue only brought everyone out after confirming that there was no danger outside. According to the direction of the lightning tribulation just now, we should be able to reach the ghost city. Sima Yue looked in that direction and calculated how long it would take to reach the place where the lightning tribulation happened. That. Diwu's body kept trembling after he came out. Can I go back first? Sima Yue saw him trembling uncontrollably and recalled that he was also from the ghost clan. The remnant power of the lightning tribulation in the air wasn't easy for him to endure. So she opened the door to the little realm and let him in. She planned to let him out after this journey. They sat on the flying beast and flew towards the ghost city. After flying for 2 days, they saw a group of charred corpses on the ground. 10 over Ghost Clan went through the lightning tribulation together. No wonder the power was so strong. Sima Lufeng continued. Yue, if it was you, could you endure the lightning tribulation that day? Compared to the one in Fair Eastern City, what do you think? Sima Yue asked back. That's true, you even went through such a huge lightning tribulation in Fair Eastern City. This is nothing to you. Sima Lufeng continued. Yue, come tell us, how did you become immune to lightning? I think those lightning-attributed spirit masters can't do what you did. Tell me, I'll learn from you. Who knows, I might be immune to lightning in the future. About this, it's actually very easy. Sima Yue smiled and looked at Sima Lufeng. You'll be struck by lightning tribulation a few more times, the stronger the better. Then you'll get used to it. Sima Lufeng thought about what she said seriously. Then he realized that she was bluffing him. You don't respect the old at all. I'm just telling the truth. Sima Yue looked at him innocently. I was struck a few times, then I don't know why my body had the lightning attribute. Then I realized that I could trigger the lightning tribulation. Then I just let nature take its course. Sima Xiuqi and Huang Yingying thought she was joking at first. After hearing what she said, they patted her head with heartache and said, I really can't imagine how you've been through all this. Poor child. You don't have to work so hard in the future. Just leave everything to us. Chapter 1303. Sima Yue could feel Huang Yingying's love and guilt for her. She shook her head slightly. Actually, compared to what I've gotten, what I've encountered is really nothing. Many people have suffered more than I have, but they haven't gained as much as I have. She comforted him with a smile. You child. Huang Yingying reached out and hugged her. She was so sensible at such a young age. Yet she was not proud of her achievements. How could they not love such a granddaughter? Sima Lufeng pursed his lips. Auntie was known as the Iron Lady in the family. She had scolded her brothers, sisters-in-law, and so on. Everyone was afraid of her. Now he's actually so kind to Yue. How rare. However, when he thought about it, even the patriarch treated her with kindness. This was enough to show how charming she was. Who wouldn't like such a talented and sensible child? I wonder what the ghost city looks like. How is it different from the cities outside? Sima Yue asked. There shouldn't be any difference. If you really want to say something, it's probably just that there are dark spirit masters and ghost clan inside. Third Emo said. I don't know what happened to father back then. His life tablet has always been cracked. Has he been injured all these years? At the mention of Sima Luxian, everyone was silent. The atmosphere was a little gloomy because of worry. Yue, don't worry. Your father will be fine. Little Helper said. Master said that your father will have some influence in the future, so he won't be gone so soon. Yes, thank you. Sima Yue smiled at him. She did not ask what it would affect in the future. If he could tell her, he would not be so vague. Therefore, it was useless for her to ask. Not long after encountering the ghost corpses, they saw a city floating in mid-air. Unlike Ocean of Cloud City, which seemed to be floating in mid-air, Ghost City was really floating in mid-air, and there was nothing to support it from below. Because this was the border between the ghost realm and the human realm, the spiritual power of other attributes in the air was scarce. The closer it was to the ghost city, the thinner it was, to the point where there was almost none. Once they were taken out of Ghost City, they would be completely gone. They flew along the outskirts of the city for a long time, but they still couldn't see the city gate. This ghost city doesn't have a city gate. How are we going to enter? Let's keep looking. They flew for a few more days. Everywhere was the same city walls, the same bricks. There was no difference at all. If they hadn't been walking in the same direction, they would have thought that they were walking back. This ghost city is so big. We've been walking for so many days, and we still haven't seen the end. If father is really in there, it won't be easy to find him. Sima Yue sighed. It is indeed huge. We have to find an entrance first, Wu Lingyu said. We've been walking for so many days, but there's not even a shadow. It's probably not just because it's too big that we can't find it, but because it's always like this. Very likely. Sima Xiuqi said. I'll try to see if I can go in first. He flew up, but just as he reached the height of the city wall, he was knocked back by a black ripple before he could reach the top. Sima Xiuqi could feel the power contained in the ripple, and used all his strength to defend himself. Only then was he able to prevent himself from being injured. However, he was still forced to retreat. There really is a defensive array? Sima Xiuqi returned to everyone's side with a heavy expression. Even I can't break through it forcefully. This defensive array is quite powerful, he said solemnly. He was already a paragon, but he was knocked back by the power of the ripple. This ghost city's defensive ability was actually so strong. Seems like it's not easy to enter this city gate. Third Emo looked at the city wall with interest. It's impossible to fight it forcefully. We have to think of a way. Do you have an idea? He looked at Wu Lingyu. This holy son of the Sage Pavilion should have some experience. As expected, Wu Lingyu nodded. I've heard of some theories, but I'm not sure. What idea do you have? Sima Lufeng asked. Wu Lingyu looked at Di Wu. Go and try. Me? I'm not that powerful. Di Wu quickly shook his head. Go and try. You won't get hurt, Wu Lingyu said. All right then. Di Wu took a deep breath and flew towards the city gate. Bang! As Di Wu wasn't that powerful and believed Wu Lingyu, he didn't protect himself and was sent flying by the power of the attack. Wu Lingyu waved his hand and a power caught him and brought him back. Hiss! So painful. Didn't you say there wouldn't be a problem? Di Wu rubbed his injured hand and glared at him unhappily. You believed it too, Wu Lingyu said faintly. Di Wu was speechless. He felt like he was fooled by him. Don't be angry. Your injury isn't without meaning, Wu Lingyu said. What did you think of? Sima Yue asked. Didn't you notice that the backlash against the Ghost Clan is smaller? Wu Lingyu asked back. Seems like it. Sima Yue thought about it. Both of them didn't take the initiative to attack, but the power of the defensive array was different. Seems like there's a difference. Is there a difference with power? Sima Lufeng asked. You can try, Third Emo said. Third Emo was just teasing him. He didn't expect Sima Lufeng to reply and fly over. Bang! Sima Lufeng wasn't seriously injured because he was prepared, but it could be seen that his attack was much more powerful than Di Wu's, and his power was on par with Di Wu's. As expected, the human clan will be attacked more than the ghost clan. Why is that? Little Helper asked. It's probably because the person who set this up hated the human clan even more. Sima Yue guessed. Seems like you and Di will have to complete it again, Wu Lingyu said. Sima Yue understood what he meant. She brought the others into the little realm, leaving only Di Wu and her. How do the two of us go in? Di Wu asked. Sima Yue kept her spirit energy and released the dark aura in her body. Then she called Little Roar out to merge with her. After doing that, her aura changed completely. Di Wu sniffed the aura on her body and was moved to tears. Wu, it's this smell. It's the smell of the princess. Di Wu danced around her. I've smelled it before, but it's been a long time since I smelled it. Sima Yue saw his excited look and smiled. All right, let's go in. How do we go in? Di Wu just asked when Sima Yue held his hand and flew towards the city wall. They didn't care about being hurt by the defensive array. Chapter 1304. You don't know? Then how do we get to the ghost city? Sima Lufeng asked. Xiao Tong looked at Di Wu and said, he will lead the way from now on. Xiao Tong looked at Di Wu and said, he will lead the way from now on. Me. Di Wu pointed at his own nose in surprise. I don't know where the ghost city is. Everyone was speechless. So no one knew where the ghost city was? They had always thought that Xiao Tong knew, and Xiao Tong thought that Di Wu knew. In the end, no one knew. Both of you don't know how to get to the ghost city? Sima Yue asked. Master said that he knows, Xiao Tong said. I have never been there. I have only heard of it. Di Wu said innocently. Your master knows that it is here. Did he not mention the specific place? Xiao Tong shook his head. Yinlin did not mention it. Then what do we do now? Everyone looked at each other. They did not know what to do. Xiaotong, why did your master say that Diwu would know? Sima Yue asked. Didn't he say that Diwu would know? Did he say why? Xiaotong said. Didn't Diwu say that he had heard of it before? Perhaps it is the place that you have heard of, Wu Lingyu said. Then let me think. Diwu said. I have heard of it a long time ago. I have heard of a saying before. When the sun sets in the western hills, humans and ghosts connect. Could it be related to this? Sima Xioqi said. Western hills? Right. The legendary ghost city seems to be in the western hills. Diwu shouted. This western hills refers to the western hills of the human realm. It shouldn't be related to the ghost realm, right? No, the ghost realm also has a mountain called the Western Hills. Diwu said with certainty. But there isn't a mountain called the Western Hills here, Sima Luyan said. We once came here to look for it. At that time, we thought that he might have come here, but we couldn't find him. At that time, we knew that there isn't a Western Hills here. Whether there is or not, we just need to find a spirit beast and ask. After Sima Xioqi finished speaking, he forcefully sucked downwards. A spirit beast hiding in the swamp was sucked out. Spare me! Spare me! That little loach twisted its body in the air and cried out loudly. Don't shout, we don't want your life. Sima Xioqi said. Let me ask you, is there a place called the Western Hills in the southern desolate swamp? When that little loach heard that he didn't want his life, he immediately calmed down. When he heard that it was Sima Xioqi, he thought for a moment and said, No, there isn't a place called the Western Hills in the southern desolate swamp. There really isn't. There isn't, the little loach said with certainty. Could it be that you know that there isn't one near you? The spirit beasts here move around quite frequently. If there was one, then we would definitely know about it. There definitely isn't a place called the Western Hills, the little loach said. Sima Xioqi saw that he was quite honest, so he let him go. He also caught a few spirit beasts to ask, but the results were the same. It seems like there really isn't a Western Hills. Diwu said. Sima Yue looked at the mountains in the distance. Right now it was sunset. The sun was sandwiched between two mountains and was slowly sinking. The sun is setting in the Western Hills. Could it be that the Western Hills isn't the name of a mountain range, but a mountain range in the west? A mountain range in the west? Huang Yingying followed Sima Yue's gaze and saw the setting sun. That's not possible, right? Sima Lufeng said. The mountain we are looking at now is in the west. What if we are not standing in this position? If we are standing on the west side of this mountain, then this mountain is in the east side of us. What he said made sense. However, Sima Yue didn't think so. The more she looked at the mountains, the more she felt that they were similar. Anyway, we don't have any other way. Why don't we try there? Wu Lingyu suggested. That's true. Don't go there. The little loach from before suddenly popped its head out of the mud. That place is very strange. Spirit beasts often go missing there. It's very dangerous. Oh, the little loach's words immediately attracted everyone's attention. There doesn't seem to be anything special about those two mountains, right? Why are they so dangerous? I know. Anyway, at this time of the day, that place is especially dangerous. That's why we won't go there at this time, the little loach said. Not at other times? No. Usually it's 2 hours before and after sunset. During that time, you will be very scary. The spirit beasts that go there will disappear after walking for a while, the little loach said. We understand. Thank you, little loach. This is a thank you gift. Sima Yue took out an elixir and threw it to the little loach. The little loach did not know what this elixir was, but it smelled very comfortable. It was definitely something good. Therefore, it wrapped the elixir and sank back into the ground. According to what it said, it should be that place, Sima Luyan said. I really didn't expect that the border between humans and ghosts would be in such an inconspicuous place. Let's go over. They flew towards those mountains. They did not expect that although they looked close, they were actually quite far away. By the time they reached there, the sun had already set. They had no choice but to wait until the next day. On this day, they circled around the mountains. In the end, they did not see a single spirit beast. This proved that this place was unusual. On the second day, when the sun was about to set, they left the range of the mountain range and slowly flew towards the middle of two mountains. Just as they passed through the middle of the two mountains, the scene in front of them changed. Previously, it looked like a swamp, but now it was a patch of gray. There was no setting sun, and there were no emerald green plants. They looked behind them. Although they could see the two mountains from before, they did not feel like they were in the same space. Did we enter this place? It should be. It's a patch of gray everywhere here. Where could the ghost city be? I know this, Diwu said. Didn't you say that you didn't know? I didn't know how people from the human world came to this place. When I arrived here, I knew, Diwu explained. Then how do we go? It is said that there is only one direction at the border between humans and ghosts. No matter where we go, we will reach the ghost city, Diwu said. The direction we go is to enter the ghost city, and when we exit the ghost city, we will go to another world. So magical. This was the first time Sima Yue had heard of it, and she found it unbelievable. It seemed like there were 4 directions, but there was only one direction. This was a little strange. But in a special place like this, it wasn't unacceptable. So no matter where we go, we will reach the ghost city. Then why do you say that you know the way? Sima Lufeng rolled his eyes. That counts as knowing, Diwu retorted. If not for him, they would not know. Then, let's just randomly choose a direction to go. Sima Yue bit her lips. Did her father go through the same way? Reading background color default settings: classic light blue, classic light gray, classic green, classic bright yellow, deep blue, ocean autumn, exuberant green, light elegant red, pink, family red, talk thick, sea wide, sky wide, heartbroken past, snow white, heaven, and earth gray, world font color default settings: white, red, green, blue, brown, font size default settings: small, medium, large, speed 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 0. Mouse scroll description: 1 to 10, 1 is the slowest, 10 is the fastest. Chapter 1305. Who is it? Not only the young man on the ground, Zhang Shua and his subordinates also noticed Sima Yue. At first, they thought it was someone from the city who had come to watch the show. But when they looked up, they realized that it was someone they had never seen before. Who are you? Zhang Shua waved his hand, and his men immediately surrounded the two of them. We're just passers-by, Sima Yue said. However, the other party clearly didn't believe him. How could a passerby pass by here? Then who do you think we are? Sima Yue asked. I don't care who you are. Zhang Shua sneered. I don't care who you are. Since you dared to find out about us, then you can go with him. I don't think it's because we saw you killing people. It's because we're in your so-called forbidden area, Sima Yue said. Although you said that you're not afraid of being discovered, your father doesn't seem to be as powerful as you said. He can't guarantee your safety. That's why the killing intent in your eyes is so strong. Am I right? Zhang Shua stared coldly at Sima Yue. They had only exchanged a few words, but she had already guessed his thoughts. What a terrifying woman. Yue was right. Zhang Shua was afraid that she would spread the news of him coming to the forbidden area. If no one saw it with their own eyes and it was just a rumor, his father could remove him from the list. However, if someone saw it, it would be different. That old witch would definitely kill him. Therefore, these two people could not be allowed to live. However, when he saw how beautiful Sima Yue was, he changed his mind. If he could bring her back, he could curry favor with the few beauties in the family. As long as she didn't go out, who would know that they were here? Young mistress, this person's gaze has changed. His killing intent is gone, but he has become a little lecherous, Diwu whispered to Sima Yue. Zhang Shua did not expect the two of them to be so sensitive. He had only changed his mind, and they had already sensed it. He sneered and said, I'll give you a chance now. If you follow us back obediently, I'll spare your lives. Miss, he wants you to follow him back and eat you, Diwu said. No, that's not what his expression meant. I think he wants to snatch you back and feed you to someone else. Of course, eating wasn't the same as eating. But did this guy have to be so straightforward? The other party had become angry out of humiliation because of him. Zhang Shua was indeed a little angry. but not to the point of flying into a rage out of humiliation. He was just unhappy that his thoughts had been guessed correctly. Kill that ghost clan member for me. Bring the woman back for me and give her to those lecherous elders in the clan. They will definitely not have any complaints about me. That's really what I think. Miss, we're in danger. Diwu pulled her sleeve and screamed. Sima Yue was speechless. How could her cousin and the ghost master tolerate such a cheerful personality? She thought that the people around her cousin were all mature and steady like Di Lu. She took a glance at these guards. There were ghost and dark spirit masters, which meant that they had a higher status. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to have guards with two different statuses in such a city. She was thinking about how to deal with the other party's people. She had just arrived and she had already killed someone with a relatively high status. Would it cause any inconvenience to her operation this time? But if she let him go just like that, firstly, she was unwilling to do so. Secondly, what if he found out that she was in some forbidden area and spread the news about her? Should she kill him or not? She had yet to make a decision, but the other party had already made the decision for her. A portion of them attacked Diwu with deadly moves. Diwu subconsciously wanted to use his spiritual power to counterattack, but he realized that he couldn't use his spiritual power at all. No wonder those people chose to use punches and kicks to beat him up. There was no other way. Oh my god. It hurts. Although Diwu was a spirit beast with thick skin, the other party seemed to be spirit beasts too. Therefore, he didn't have any advantage in terms of physical strength. As the other party had more people, he was beaten up until he screamed in pain. However, although he was shouting loudly, he did not slack off in his martial arts. He punched this guard and kicked that guard. His strength was not light either. Unfortunately, 2 fists couldn't fight against 4 hands. The other party had too many people, and he was still beaten up badly. Sima Yue saw how badly he was beaten up, and looked at the people who came to bully her. She clenched her fists and muttered, "It's been a long time since I used pure strength to fight. I wonder if my body has rusted." After saying that, she punched the face of the person who came to grab her, and sent him flying. Bang! That person flew more than 10 meters away and landed heavily on the ground. The loud sound attracted the attention of the others. Was this the strength that a weak woman should have? They looked at that person's collapsed face in disbelief, and then looked at Sima Yue, who didn't change her expression. They were dumbstruck. That person was a spirit beast. How could a human be compared to the strength of his body? But what did they see? A human had sent a shape-shifting beast flying with a single punch, and even caused half of its face to collapse. Sima Yue didn't care about their surprised looks. She flashed and came to Diwu's side and kicked those people who were beating him away. Diwu was still being beaten up, and didn't expect the people around him to suddenly disappear. He looked at Sima Yue with a face of admiration after the shock. Miss was so powerful. How is this possible? Zhang Shua shouted. How can a human defeat a spirit beast? She even defeated one with 1 punch. This was too incredible. He only felt a figure swaying in front of him, and then all of his men fell down. By the time he reacted, only the 2 of them were left standing. Seeing the murderous intent in Sima Yue's eyes, he was terrified. He hated himself for following that bitch to the restricted area. He couldn't use his spiritual power here, and he didn't have any power to fight back against Sima Yue. Don't kill me. He retreated, his eyes were filled with fear and his body kept trembling. Didn't you say you wanted to kill and capture? How about I let you have a taste of it? Sima Yue approached him slowly. She didn't take action immediately and kept pressuring him. Zhang Shua looked at her clasped hands and swallowed his saliva in fear. If you let me go, I won't pursue this matter and treat it as if nothing happened today. PFFF. The knife pierced into his body and Zhang Shua suddenly widened his eyes. Until his death, he didn't think that he would really lose his life. This book came from Chapter 1306. Sima Yue stood rooted to the ground as she watched the corpse fall to the ground, and the young man panting heavily behind it. The youth's hands were stained with blood, and his eyes were bloodshot. His facial features were swollen beyond recognition. He looked at the corpse in front of him with eyes full of hatred. Sima Yue saw the young man crawl up from the ground to approach Zhang Shua, but after a second of hesitation, she did not stop him. Young master has been killed. The guards looked at the fallen Zhang Shua and cried out in horror. Capture them. Otherwise, we'll die if we go back. If they failed to protect their master, they wouldn't be able to survive even if the murderer was caught. However, their strong will to survive gave them a little hope. Hua, I'll give them to you. Sima Yue waved her hand, and Hua appeared in front of everyone. Yu, I didn't expect you to give me so much delicious food as soon as I arrived. Hua was very happy to see so many people to eat. A few vines flew out from her sleeves and quickly divided into several branches in the air. On each branch, a flower as tall as a person bloomed, flirtatious and charming. When the man-eating flower king came out, everyone was scared silly. If they were to face a normal person, they would still have a shred of fighting power. But now, against the man-eating flower king, they had no hope at all. How can there be a man-eating flower king? You're not from Ghost City. If you're right, there's a reward. The reward is to eat all of you, ha ha ha. Hua laughed. Those who could walk turned around and ran. At the same time, they were filled with regret. Why did they come to this place? Now there was really no one to respond to his cries. One after another, people were caught by the Hua. Soon, there was no one left in the alley except for the huge flowers. This is... The young man was stunned. He thought that he would definitely die after killing Zhang Shua today. He didn't expect that the situation would take a 180-degree turn in just a few minutes. Sima Yue looked at the teenager and asked, "What's your name?" The young man came back to his senses and glanced at her. Without saying a word, he turned around and left. At the very least, I saved your life just now. Is this how you repay me? Sima Yue shouted at his back. This is not a place where you should be. Hurry up and leave before anyone notices. Also, if you kill Zhang Shua and his family finds out, it would be better for you to leave this city as soon as possible. The young man paused for a moment before dragging his battered body and continuing to walk forward. Miss, are we letting her go just like that? Diwu covered his bruised and swollen face and asked. Sima Yue smiled but did not say anything. Looking at his back, she tapped her fingers 3 times. 1, 2, 3, bang. The young man couldn't hold on any longer and fainted. Sima Yue walked over and shook her head. Diwu, take him away. With him? Diwu walked over. Young miss, this person offended a big shot. If we bring him along, we will definitely attract trouble. Why don't I just leave him here and feed him another pill? He won't die for sure. Sima Yue stared at Diwu, and the latter felt goosebumps from her stare. Diwu. She looked at him seriously. Young Mississippi, are you really a hellhound? Sima Yue came over and pulled him around in circles. She looked at him carefully and was very confused. Diwu quickly clarified her suspicions and nodded his head like a chick pecking rice. That's right, I'm the hellhound, I'm the real deal. Sima Yue stood up straight and said, but I feel that you don't look like a hellhound at all. In my impression, this hellhound should only work and not talk. But why do I feel that you don't work and only talk? Diwu was speechless. Young Miss had said so much, and this was the main point. How was he not like a hellhound? He didn't look like one, he was one. Being stared at by Sima Yue, he could only carry the young man and use his 10,000-year-old dog nose to avoid everyone, bringing him out of the restricted area safely. Actually, they didn't know why that place became a restricted area. But when they saw the bustling streets, they knew that they were out. Zhang Shua chased the young man all the way into the restricted area, and was caught by him not long later, so they were not far from the exit. Sima Yue asked Diwu to carry the young man and follow behind her. Then they looked for an inn along the streets. But after looking around, they didn't find any inn. That's strange. Why aren't there any inns here? Diwu complained. He was already very eye-catching when he carried a person on the streets. With Sima Yue's stunning appearance, the number of people who turned their heads along the way was simply too high. There aren't any inns in Ghost City. The young man on his back woke up and struggled to get down from his back. However, his body didn't have much strength, so he left it at that. Sima Yue turned around to look at him and asked, "You said there aren't any inns here?" "Yes, even if you walk around the entire Gue city, you won't find any inns," the young man said. "Why? Very few outsiders come to Ghost City. Those who come will choose to join a powerhouse so that they will have a place to stay. Those who pass by occasionally are too few, who would open an inn here. If that's the case, then we'll stay at your house," Sima Yue said bluntly. The young man remained silent for a while and said, "Put me down." Sima Yue gave Diwu a glance and Diwu immediately put the young man down. The young man looked at the people on the streets and said to the two of them, "Follow me." He went into a small alley at the side. Sima Yue and Diwu quickly followed. The young man didn't bring them along the main road, but turned here and there in the small alleys. Finally, they arrived at a dilapidated house and pushed open the courtyard door to enter. Sima Yue looked at the house. There were a few small latrines and the house was leaning left and right. The fence around the house had also decayed. When she passed by, she wondered if it would fall off if she used too much strength. The courtyard wasn't very clean either. Wood was scattered everywhere, and the jagged edges made it obvious that the wood wasn't broken normally. It was probably broken by those people who usually bullied his house and beat him up. However, she didn't know who was the one who was beaten up. When they came to the room, it was still considered clean. The main reason was that there was nothing in the room. There wasn't even a basic table or chair. There was only a praying mat on the floor. "I don't have anything here, help yourselves." The young man finished speaking and sat down on the praying mat to check his injuries. He seemed to be very familiar with this place. It seemed like getting injured was a common occurrence. "What's your name?" Sima Yue asked. This time, the young man didn't resist. After a moment of silence, he said, "Mu Si." Sima Yue didn't say anything, but the child in the little realm suddenly called out. This book came from Chapter 1307. Sima Yue was shocked by Xiao Tong's reaction. She asked him telepathically, "What's wrong with Mu Si? Why do you have such a big reaction?" "Sister Yue, Master said that Mu Si is related to you finding your father. He asked me to come here to help you find Mu Si," Xiao Tong explained, then said in disappointment, "I didn't expect to find this person the moment we came. Then I'm useless." Sima Yue didn't expect Mu Si to be related to her purpose of coming here. She sized him up. A young man who was bullied. She even offended a big force because she met them. Could he help her save her father? Mu Si knew she was sizing him up. His expression didn't change. He even paused his action of checking his injuries. "You don't have to check. The pills I gave you are the best. Your injuries are mostly healed. You just need some time to recover," Sima Yue said. Mu Si checked his injuries. It was as she said. His injuries were much better. In the past, he would need half a month to recover. He didn't expect to recover in half a day. Sima Yue walked over and squatted beside him. She stretched out a hand and poked at the swollen area, saying, "In any case, I saved you and gave you a good pill. You didn't even say a word of thanks?" Mu Si remained silent. Just when Sima Yue and Diwu thought he wouldn't speak, he opened his mouth, but it was still very simple. "I gave you a place to stay." That meant that he was thanking her. How simple. There weren't any chairs here. Sima Yue took out a praying mat and placed it beside Mu Si. She sat down with him. Mu Si raised his head. His eyes were filled with vigilance. Other than his father, no one had ever been so close to him. "Don't worry, I'm not interested in your life," Sima Yue said. "If I really wanted to do anything to you, would you still be alive?" Mu Si understood that, but he was already repulsed by humans, so he wouldn't let his guard down just because of her words. But his gaze wasn't that cold anymore. "Who are those people today? Why would he bully you?" Sima Yue asked. Speaking of those people, Mu Si's eyes flashed with intense hatred. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. Even though Zhang Shua had been killed by him, the hatred in his heart could not be erased. Was it because the hatred was too deep? Or was it because there was someone else? However, Mu Si didn't seem to want to say more. He closed his eyes and leaned against the wall, ignoring her. What an arrogant child. Sima Yue also insisted on it. she said to Diwu. Go out and take a look at the situation here. All right. Diwu nodded and was about to leave. It's best if you don't go out now, Musi said. Why? Diwu was puzzled. He was from the ghost race. It should be fine for him to go out, right? Zhang Shuo is dead. It must be chaotic outside. If a new face is discovered at this time, he will definitely be captured. Musi said. Does that Zhang Shuo have a very high status? That old demonic woman didn't care about Ghost City for the past few years. The one in power now is the Zhang family. Zhang Shuo has an important status among the descendants of the Zhang family. Now that he's dead, they won't just let it go. Musi said. Since you know that Zhang Shuo has a high status, why did you kill him? Sima Yue asked. I always wanted to kill him, but I didn't have the chance. Musi said hatefully. He often let people beat you up like that? Musi clenched his fists, agreeing with her words silently. Seems like it. Sima Yue said. Those fellows in the courtyard were all beaten up by you? Still silence. The yard was filled with broken limbs. Judging by the looks of it, they were all tables and stools from his house. They had been smashed by those people. Sima Yue felt heartache for this stubborn little fellow. She asked, why did they beat you up? They couldn't beat my father. They were taught a lesson by my father in the past. Now they shifted their attention to me. Musi said. Sima Yue noticed that when he talked about his father, his eyes were filled with worship, but there was a faint sadness between his brows. Your father is very powerful. My father is the most powerful person in Ghost City. Musi said. If he didn't go missing, they wouldn't dare to challenge his dignity. How long has your father been missing? 7 years. Musi said. Ever since I was 8 years old, he never came back. They started bullying you after your father went missing? 2 years later. When my father went missing, they were worried that he would come back, so they didn't dare to cause trouble. Musi said. 2 years later, my father still didn't come back, so they started to cause trouble for me. But because there was no news about my father, they didn't dare to take my life. But recently, the news about my father's death spread more and more. Those people really thought that my father was dead. So they were ruthless to me. My father will definitely come back. No wonder there were those things in the courtyard. They probably didn't dare to kill him, so most of the time, they just punched and kicked and used things to smash him. How old were you then? When my father went missing, I was 8. He went missing when he was 8. He started being bullied when he was 10. He was bullied for 5 years. No wonder the hatred in his eyes was so strong. If it was her, she would have killed him long ago. Other than him, there are other people who bullied you? There are many ignorant and incompetent people in the city. There are also many people who take advantage of the situation. Those who used to bootlick might change their faces in the next second. Musi replied. So there were many people who bullied him. You and Zhang Shuo have a grudge. Why did you dare to bring us back? Aren't you afraid that they will find this place? Sima Yue asked. They won't think of coming here. Musi said. Although they know that I was bullied by them, they don't think that I have the ability to kill them. When I was on the streets, many people saw that I was beaten half to death. I don't have the ability to kill someone under the protection of so many guards. Sima Yue thought about what he said and felt that it was reasonable. Under normal circumstances, those people would find people who were more powerful than them. People like Musi who were oppressed and had no ability would naturally be the first to be eliminated. She didn't expect him to be so smart despite his young age. Musi, Musi. An anxious voice came from outside the courtyard. Musi, who was always cold, immediately stood up and rushed outside. Uncle Yangzi, I'm at home. You're at home? That's great. I heard that someone killed Zhang Shuo. Are you okay? I'm fine. Musi, Zhang family is searching for people outside. Stay at home and don't go out, okay? The man who entered the door was stunned when he saw Sima Yue and Diwu sitting on the ground. He then pulled Musi behind him and looked at them defensively. Chapter 1308. Who are you? Why are they in Musi's house? He formed a seal with one hand. If Musi said that they were bad people, he would immediately attack them. Please search to see the most complete, the fastest to update. We are Musi's saviors. Sima Yue said. Savior. Yangzi turned his head to look at Musi. Seeing him nod, he lowered his guard and cupped his fists towards the two of them. He said gratefully, I've offended you earlier. Please forgive me. Sima Yue nodded slightly in response. Musi, were you injured by those people again? Yangzi asked. Musi nodded. Yangzi didn't care about her attitude. He turned around and asked Musi, I heard that you were caught by Zhang Shuo again today. They even saw him chasing after you, but not long after, they found him dead. Musi, tell uncle the truth. Is his death related to you? Musi wanted to say that he killed someone, but Sima Yue spoke first. Musi's strength is so weak. That Zhang Shuo brought 12 to 20 men. Do you think he can kill them? Sima Yue said faintly. Musi looked at her in surprise. He didn't expect her to say that, but he still followed her meaning and said, there are many of them. He didn't directly say that he wasn't the one who killed them, but he didn't deny it either. Yangzi followed Sima Yue's train of thought, and felt that it was indeed impossible for Musi to be the one who said it. Hence, he shifted his attention to them and asked, you know so clearly that you were the ones who saved him from Zhang Shuo. Were you the one who killed them? Sima Yue shrugged. We did kill a few guards, but Zhang Shuo was not killed by us. Really? Ask Musi if you don't believe me. Uncle Yangzi, Zhang Shuo was indeed not killed by them. Musi said. Yangzi stared at Musi. After confirming that he was telling the truth, he patted his shoulder and said, Uncle is also worried about you. This Zhang family is too powerful. If you killed Zhang Shuo and they found out, it would be troublesome. Yes, I know. Musi nodded. But Zhang Shuo was not killed by them. I killed him. He added in his mind. Well, it's good that you have nothing to do with this. Yangzi seemed to heave a sigh of relief. If you were captured by them, that matter might be leaked out. At that time, it would be even more impossible to find your father. Did you find it? Musi shook his head and said, Uncle Yangzi, I really didn't find it. Either this thing never existed, or father took it away. You should look for it again. Your father must have left a copy at home when he left. Just in case something happens, we can look for him, Yangzi said confidently. But father has never told me about this. Moreover, Moose looked around and said, the house is clear at a glance now. If there was anything, we would have discovered it long ago. Maybe you missed something, Yangzi said. This is the key to finding your father. If we can't find that place, we won't be able to find your father. Do you understand? I know. Musi lowered his head in disappointment. If he couldn't find that thing, he wouldn't be able to find his father. But he searched the entire house and didn't find any trace of that thing. One could imagine how he felt. Yangzi saw that he was in low spirits and said, you should look for it again. Don't go out on the streets during this period of time, in case Zhang family takes their anger out on you. I understand. These are for your expenses during this period of time. Your father is a great hero. Don't fall behind in your cultivation. Yangzi handed him a bag. Musi took the bag and looked at him gratefully. I will work hard. Thank you, Uncle Yangzi. Oh right, although they are your saviors, we don't know their identities. To avoid trouble, be careful. I will, Uncle Yangzi. Okay, I'll go back first. I'll inform you if there's any news. Yangzi turned around and left. Musi went to send him off and returned quickly. He sat on the praying mat and opened the bag to look at the things inside. Sima Yue glanced at it. There were only a few low-grade dark spirit stones and 2 middle-grade ones. Sima Yue supported her chin with her right hand and looked at him. What kind of person is that Uncle Yangzi of yours? Musi kept the spirit stones. He knew that Sima Yue wasn't an ordinary person. She wouldn't care about his spirit stones, so he wasn't worried. Uncle Yangzi is my father's good friend. He has been taking care of me and helping me all these years. Otherwise, I wouldn't be alive now. You trust him a lot. Yes. Then you lied to him just now. Sima Yue said. If you trust him, why didn't you tell him the truth in the end? Musi lowered his head and held the bag in his hand. He didn't say anything. What should he say? Although he had only known her for half a day, he had an inexplicable trust in her. Sima Yue sighed and said, "You child, you only answer once every 3 questions. Talking to you is so tiring." "Who are you?" Musi suddenly raised his head and looked at her with tears in his eyes. "You always ask me questions but never tell me who you are." Why was a stranger so concerned about him? Although he was still young, his experience all these years made him have a sharp intuition towards people. He could tell who was sincere and who was fake. Sima Yue didn't expect the stubborn him to be like this. She was stunned for a moment before she smiled and said, "My name is Sima Yue. Just like you, I'm also looking for my father." "Your father is also missing?" "Yes." Sima Yue changed her position. She hugged her knees with both hands and placed her head on her knees, saying, "Actually, we are in the same boat. You couldn't find your father until you were 8 years old. I was sent to another place when I was born. I have never seen my father before and I don't know what he looks like. I don't know if he misses me like I miss him. I only know that he isn't living well now. I have to find him quickly." "Your father is in Ghost City?" Musi asked. "Yes. I came here to look for my father." Sima Yue took out Sima Luxian's life jade after she finished speaking. The top-quality jade was full of cracks. It could be seen what the owner looked like now. Perhaps it was because they were in the same boat, the two of them became closer to each other. Sima Yue sighed and said, "Do you know that your Uncle Yangzi's feelings towards you are not that simple?" Musi held the bag in his hand tightly again and whispered, "I know. He didn't take care of me in front of my father. It was because of other reasons. But I saw you running out excitedly when you heard his voice. Don't you care?" Sima Yue asked. He could feel it outside. Sima Yue was a little surprised. Could it be that he was deliberately acting so intimate? This book came from Chapter 1309. "You already knew that he wasn't sincere to you," Sima Yue said confidently. "After my father went missing, everyone bullied me, and I had no source of income. Uncle Yangzi is the only one who has approached me." Musi said, "I don't have any power. I don't know what I can do. If it wasn't for Uncle Yangzi, I might have starved to death." "When did you realize that he wasn't sincere to you?" Sima Yue took out a few dark attribute spirit fruits and threw one to Diwu while stuffing one to Musi. Musi took the spirit fruit, but didn't eat it. He looked at the water droplets on the spirit fruit and said, 2 years ago, he asked me if there was a treasure map left behind by my father at home." Treasure map? This was indeed a reason to treat him well. Yes. He said that his father had gone out to search for treasure. He must have left a copy of the treasure map at home, so that we can find him. He even said that his father had mentioned it before. But I've never seen that thing. Musi said. When I told him, he didn't believe me and told me to look for it. He even yelled at me after I said it a few times. Sima Yue understood that this little guy was sensitive. Although Yangzi had treated him well in the past, his behavior in the past 2 years was too obvious. Naturally, he would be suspicious. If I hadn't interrupted you, would you have told him the truth? It's possible. If the Zhang family knew about this and arrested me, he would at least try to save me. After all, he hasn't gotten it yet. Musi said. Then why did you stop talking when I interrupted you? I don't know either. Sima Yue smiled and did not mention this again. She looked at the spirit fruit in his hand and said, Eat it, this thing is much more useful than the few low-grade crystals he gave you. I'm going out to buy food first. Musi said as his stomach started growling. Sima Yue then remembered that Musi was still at the stage where he needed to eat every day. No wonder he treasured those few low-grade crystals so much. Don't go out either. Since we can't go out now, why don't we find something to do? She got up and walked to the courtyard. Musi followed her out. What are you doing? Musi asked. I'm cooking. Aren't you hungry? Sima Yue waved her hand and took out a set of pots and pans. When Musi saw those things, even the basins were spirit tools, he labeled her as a descendant of a prestigious family in his heart. Seeing her cooking skillfully, he leaned over and said, I didn't expect you to know how to cook. What's so strange about cooking? I thought that a young lady from a big family like you would definitely not do any household chores. Musi spoke the truth. Sima Yue smiled and said, I like to cook. The food outside didn't taste good, so he had to cook it himself. After so many years, I can be considered to have trained my culinary skills. The place where you grew up must be very good to you. Musi said with certainty. Yeah. Thinking of Sima Lai and the others, the smile on her face became even warmer. My grandfather and brothers are very good to me. At that time, we were in a very poor place. My grandfather was a general in that country. I had 4 brothers, all of whom were very talented. They never despised me just because I was fostered. Then you're really lucky, Musi said enviously. Although she didn't have a father, she had a family that loved her dearly. As for him, he had nothing. I'm indeed lucky in this aspect. Sima Yue didn't hide it, but I have my own troubles too. You have troubles? Musi didn't believe her. Of course I do. When I was your age, I didn't know how to cultivate. The whole country called me the #1 trash. Sima Yue said. How is that possible? You're so powerful. Musi had a surprised expression for the first time. What's impossible about that? Sima Yue said. At that time, my body was poisoned and I couldn't cultivate. My family didn't know the reason either. Then how did you cultivate after that? The poison was cured. I remember that I was your age as well. I detoxified, cultivated, and then entered a whole new world. After that, my life slowly changed. Sima Yue said. Come, try the roasted pork I made. Musi hesitated for a moment. He took the roasted pork from her hand and took a bite. His eyes flashed with amazement, but he immediately regained his calmness. Sima Yue knew the level of her skills. Seeing that he was only surprised for a moment, she thought that this little fella had strong self-control. What do you usually eat? She placed the roasted pork on the plate. Diwu automatically took it to the table at the side. The same as what normal people eat. 1 piece of lower-grade crystal can buy a lot. Musi answered. He could eat those foods for a long time, but it wasn't helpful to his cultivation. After he finished the food in his hand, he didn't take the food on the table. Diwu went forward and said, There's a lot on the table. Let's wait for her. Musi said. Sima Yue smiled and said, I take a long time to cook a meal. You can eat first. Otherwise, it won't taste as good when it gets cold. In the past, everyone was more casual. Basically, they would eat after roasting it. Sometimes she would roast it. Sometimes someone else would roast it. Basically, once the meal was done, everyone would eat. Speaking of which, it had been a long time since someone said that they would wait for him. Especially when he was so hungry. Although she said that, he still didn't move. She had to say that he had an excellent upbringing. This made her curious about his father. To be able to raise such a tenacious and self-controlled child, he definitely wasn't an ordinary person. After she finished roasting the pork, she made a roasted duck and stewed a pot of snake soup. After everything was done, the roasted pork was already cold. The taste was slightly worse, but it was still delicious as compared to the others. The 3 of them sat on the table. Sima Yue broke off the roasted duck leg and placed it in Musi's bowl. Missy. Diwu was hit back by Sima Yue when he tried to break off the duck leg. Now that he saw her giving the duck leg to Musi, he called out weakly. Sima Yue broke off the duck neck and stuffed it into his bowl, saying, Eat. Diwu felt wronged. Why was this little guy eating the duck leg while he could only chew on the duck neck? You'll recover from whatever you eat. This is the most suitable for you. Sima Yue said faintly. Puffed. Musi, who didn't show his emotions, laughed for the first time. Diwu felt even more wronged. Why? You don't want to eat? Sima Yue asked. No, the food that Missy gave me is naturally the best. Diwu saw Sima Yue pulling a long face, so he quickly smiled apologetically. Dilu didn't say that he had eaten Missy's cooking, not to mention that Missy gave him the food personally. He would have something to brag about when he went back. Chapter 13:10. Sima Yue looked at Musi. It was as if she saw herself in the past, at the same age, stubborn and unwilling to admit defeat. Thinking about what he had been through all these years, her heart was filled with pity. This was something she had never felt before. She scooped a bowl of snake soup for him, saying, "Don't just eat meat, try this. This is stewed with 1,000-year black jade snake meat. It's good for your body." Musi used a spoon to take a bite. The taste was indeed not bad. When he ate it, he could feel a gentle energy coming from his stomach. It was very comfortable. "How do you have so many good things?" "It's accumulated slowly," Sima Yue said. "The more you experience, the more you accumulate." "But you're not much older than me," Musi said. "How do you know?" "Maybe I'm older than you by a few hundred years?" Sima Yue laughed. Anyway, spirit masters could maintain their appearance. Even if they were 1,000 years old, they could still make themselves look like they were 20 or 30 years old. "Intuition," Musi said. Eat the porridge. You haven't said how old you are." Musi looked at her persistently. 50-something. Sima Yue thought for a while and said, "Why are you so surprised?" Musi looked at her, that dumbfounded look. It could be said that it was the biggest expression on his face in a long time. "You're only 50-something? That's right. Those 100-years-old people in the city are not as good as you," Musi said. "Those 50-something-year-old ladies only know how to play. Experience is different." Sima Yue did not think that she was that great. Her achievements were mostly due to external forces, such as meeting Mo Sha, contracting many spirit beasts, and so on. If it weren't for these external conditions, it would be impossible for her to have such high strength. Of course, she was also very hardworking. Her efforts made everyone who had seen or heard of her blush with shame. "No matter what, you're very powerful. If you work hard, you'll have a bright future." "I don't want to have a bright future now. I just want to find my father." "How did your father go missing? Did he go looking for treasure?" Sima Yue asked. "Yes." Musi was silent for a while before responding. Sima Yue noticed that he did not want to talk about her father, so she shifted her attention to other things, and asked about Ghost City. Sima Yue thought that the Ghost City was a place where crooks mixed in with the honest folk. She did not expect that due to the passage of time, some clans and forces had slowly formed here, including the city lord Luo Liansha. It was said that this Luo Liansha was a peerless beauty. Unfortunately, she was too vicious and merciless. She was also very strong. Everyone in the Ghost City was afraid of her. However, it was said that he hadn't been out much recently, so no one knew what he was doing. Since the city lord was no longer in charge, there would naturally be someone else who would take her place. Thus, the 4 stewards under the jurisdiction of the city lord's manor had ascended to the heavens. One of them was the patriarch of Zhang Shua's family. This ghost city was much bigger than the cities that Sima Yue had been to before. It could be seen from the fact that they had not seen a single city gate even after flying for a few days. Although Zhang Shua's talent was not very good, he was nothing compared to his brothers. However, because he was a direct descendant, his status was still very high. She did not expect to kill such an important person the moment she arrived. It was no wonder that the ghost city was in a complete mess. She understood the thoughts of those big families. Although this person wasn't very outstanding in the family, if the family members bullied him, the higher-ups would turn a blind eye. However, once a family member was killed by an outsider, it would be very serious. They must find out the truth, find the murderer, and kill him. Only then would they be satisfied. Because the former was just an internal conflict within the family, while the latter involved the family's reputation. Someone dared to kill the younger generation of the family. Wasn't that slapping their face and challenging their dignity? Therefore, the former could be tolerated, but the latter was absolutely intolerable. Musi also talked about some other forces in the city. However, because it had nothing to do with them for the time being, it was much more vague. "Musi, have you heard of a person's name?" "Who?" Sima Luxian. "Your father?" "Yes." Musi thought for a while and said, "If you ask someone else, you might not be able to get anything out of him. However, it's right to ask me." "You've heard of him?" Sima Yue's eyes lit up. "Yes, I once accidentally heard the people in the city mention this name. However, it seems that this name is a taboo in the city. No one can mention it. That time, when I was passing by, I heard two people talking about it. One of them mentioned it, and the other quickly stopped it. However, when I walked back in a while, I saw that the two people were taken away. Musi recalled. Sima Yue was stunned. He couldn't even mention it? What did her father do here? Therefore, don't go out and ask others. If you are heard by the patrol team, you will be taken away immediately, Musi said in a serious tone. Got it. Sima Yue nodded. But do you know what he did here? Where is he now? I don't know. I only heard them mention this name. If they weren't caught at that time, I probably wouldn't even remember this matter. However, looking at those people's reactions, I think your father must have done something big. Unfortunately, I wasn't here at that time, so I didn't know, Musi said apologetically. Well, thank you anyway. Sima Yue smiled at him. At least you confirmed that my father did come here that year. The possibility of him being here is higher. This means that I'm not looking in the wrong direction. But if you want to find your father, it will be very difficult, Musi said. As long as he's here, I will definitely find him, Sima Yue said confidently. Musi saw the smile on her face. He didn't know why, but he nodded as well. He swore in his heart that he would also find his father. Oh right, there's one more thing. Sima Yue saw that he was almost done eating. She changed a plate of cut fruits and passed a fork to him. That forbidden area. You didn't mention when you introduced Ghost City just now. What is that place? That's Ghost City's forbidden area. Ever since I can remember, I've heard the most that we can't go near that place. If we're discovered, not only will it bring about a fatal disaster, it will even lead to the extermination of our clan, Musi said. Oh, it's such a mysterious place. How come there aren't even a few guards? Sima Yue was puzzled. How would she know that it wasn't that there wasn't anyone there? Coincidentally, something happened in the forbidden area. Everyone went there to help. Trespassing into the forbidden area was something that no one dared to do after killing a bunch of people. Who knew that a situation like hers and Musi would happen? Musi, you bitch. Get out here right now. A delicate shout came from outside the door. Following that, a figure wearing a blood-red dress kicked open the crumbling fence. Chapter 13:11. Seeing the person, the rare smile on Musi's face immediately disappeared, and his aura returned to its initial coldness. He stood up and looked at the woman and her follower, and said coldly, Meng Tianshan, what are you doing here? Little slut, did you kill Zhang Shua? Meng Tianshan ran to Musi's side and pushed him with all her might. Meng Tianshan might be a woman, but she cultivated her body, so she had a lot of strength in her hands. With this push, Musi looked like he was going to fall heavily on the ground. Sima Yue, who was at the side, casually pulled him back. She lowered her head to think about something, so Meng Tianshan, who was filled with grief and anger, did not notice her. Now that she saw her face, the jealousy in her eyes almost spat fire. Who are you? You dare to help this little bastard? I'm just from the Lu family in the north of the city. I met Musi today and was chatting here. It doesn't seem good for you to rush in and hit me, right? Sima Yue made up a story. What Lu family or Wang family? If you dare to help this little bastard, I'll take care of you together with him, Meng Tianshan shouted. There were no other families in the north of the city that could make her Meng family afraid. This Lu family was definitely not a big family, so she could kill her, or even disfigure her. Coincidentally, the poison master at home gave her 2 bottles of medicinal powder, so she could test the effect today. Meng Tianshan, what are you doing? Musi shouted. Some people you can offend, but some people you can't. If you bring disaster to your family because of this, don't regret being so impulsive today. Meng Tianshan was stunned by Musi's scolding, and then she laughed out of anger. Musi, who do you think you are? You dare to discipline me? You brat, you're lustful when you see someone who's pretty? You're good. I couldn't tell that you're a romantic, daring to resist because of lust. What nonsense are you talking about? Musi blushed and retorted, "Get out of here. I really couldn't tell that a little bastard like you would be so brave in front of the person you like. TSK, tell me if I destroy her face, will you still resist me so bravely?" Meng Tianshan sneered. "Meng Tianshan, how dare you?" Musi shouted. "Why wouldn't I dare?" Meng Tianshan said. "I'll disfigure her first and let you watch helplessly. You'll feel terrible, right? After you feel uncomfortable, I will kill the two of you and let you go find Zhang Shua. He loved to bully you when he was alive. Every time he saw you get beaten up, he would be in a good mood. Now that he's gone, you can go down and accompany him." Poochie. Diwu laughed out loud. He shrugged his shoulders as though he heard a funny joke. "Ugly, what are you laughing at?" Meng Tianshan shouted. "I'm laughing at your stupidity." Diwu touched his face. Although he wasn't as handsome as Master and Wu Lingyu, he wasn't bad-looking. How was he ugly? It seemed that this woman was not only stupid, but also blind. "You dare to call me stupid?" "That's right. You can disfigure people just because you want to? You can kill people just because you want to?" Diwu said. "Are you treating us as dead people? But we're clearly still alive. That only means you're stupid." "Humph, you're still alive now, but you'll be dead in a while," Meng Tianshan said. "You guys capture the three of them." "Yes, young mistress." The lackeys behind him did those things many times. Capturing people was something they were familiar with. They came behind the three of them and prepared to imprison them. "See how I'll take care of you." Diwu condensed his spirit power and was about to make a move. "Diwu, didn't you hear what Musi said?" Sima Yue sat on her seat. She wasn't interested in the lackeys that came over. "What did Musi say?" Diwu asked. "He said we can't use spirit power, otherwise, we'll attract the patrol team." Sima Yue reminded. Diwu recalled that Musi did say that. Normally Meng Tianshan and the rest wouldn't use spirit power when they bullied others. Although they wanted to have fun, they didn't want to implicate the patrol team. Because it was said that the patrol team had extraordinary interrogation methods. Musi heaved a sigh of relief when he saw Sima Yue recalled that. At this crucial moment, it was best not to implicate the patrol team. Otherwise, if they were captured, firstly, they had been to the forbidden area. Secondly, Sima Yue's identity was suspicious. Thirdly, they were still burdened with Zhang Shua's murder case. If they were captured at this moment, they might not be able to come out alive. Those lackeys restrained the three of them. Seeing that they were defenseless, they despised them in their hearts. They were useless once they lost their spirit power. "Bring that woman to me first." Meng Tianshan pulled a stool to one side. "Get her to kneel down and raise her head. It'll be easier for me to do it." She took out a medicine bottle. When she opened the bottle cap, there was some medicine on the cap. She threw it on the ground. It corroded a small hole on the ground. If it could corrode a hole on the ground, wouldn't the effect be obvious if it was dripped on the face? Sima Yue's face darkened, looking at Meng Tianshan's eyes coldly. Meng Tianshan also noticed the small hole and said in surprise, "I didn't expect the poison master's concoction to be so effective. Hee, I can't wait to see the effect of this on the face. Get her to kneel down." But no matter how hard those two lackeys tried, Sima Yue just stood there motionless. "Did the two of you not eat? You can't even hold down a human?" Meng Tianshan frowned. "It's not that they didn't eat, but they don't have the ability." After Sima Yue spoke, she used both hands to press down on the two hands on her shoulders. With a forceful fling, the two of them were flung away. Then, before anyone could react, she flashed to Meng Tianshan's side and easily snatched the medicine bottle in her hand. At the same time, a strange fragrance spread in the courtyard. "You, how did you escape from their imprisonment?" Meng Tianshan shouted. "Do you like to disfigure people? Do you like to kill people?" Sima Yue smirked. "How about I grant you your wish today? How dare you?" Meng Tianshan shouted. "Why are you still standing there? Why aren't you coming over and killing her?" Judging from Sima Yue's methods just now, her strength was no match for her. Normally, it would be difficult for her to deal with one person with her physical strength, let alone deal with two people easily. "Miss, we can't move." Someone said. What do you mean you can't move? Meng Tianshan saw the medicine bottle in Sima Yoyue's hand, and her face turned pale. Can't move, that means I can't move. Sima Yue explained kindly. You know how to use poison, don't you know that you've been poisoned? Chapter 13:12. Meng Tianshan was stunned when she heard what she said. She only knew how to use poison, but she had never been poisoned before, so she did not know what it felt like to be poisoned. When did you poison me? When she realized that she could not move, she screamed at Yue in fear. Sima Yue stepped on the stool with one foot and leaned over to look at her, saying, You don't even know when I poisoned you. It seems like you haven't even learned the basics. It's the fragrance just now, Meng Tianshan said after realizing it. You finally reacted. Sima Yue shook the bottle in her hand. What do you think will happen if I drip this on your face? It will definitely look good. I haven't concocted this kind of poison before. I really want to see the effect. No. No. Don't disfigure me, Meng Tianshan screamed. Slap. Sima Yue slapped her, interrupting her scream. No. But weren't you planning to disfigure me just now? Why didn't you think of not wanting it at that time? I was wrong. I was wrong. Please spare me. I will ask my father to give you a lot of treasures as an apology, Meng Tianshan said naively. TSK, only a young lady who is well protected by her family can say such words. Sima Yue sighed. It's a pity that you didn't hide the hatred and murderous intent in your eyes. I'm afraid that if I let you go, you will bring your family members and come back in less than an hour. Meng Tianshan did not expect her to say what she was thinking, and quickly denied. No, as long as you let me go, I will let bygones be bygones. Sima Yue laughed. Why do people like you all think so highly of yourselves? You all think that as long as you don't pursue the matter, this matter will be over? Zhang Shua and you both said that if I let you go, this matter will be over. Have you asked me if I want to let it go? You really killed Zhang Shua, Meng Tianshan shouted. No, I only killed his guards. Sima Yue said, the one who really killed him was the little kid that you have been bullying. Meng Tianshan looked at Musi in shock. Although she felt that Zhang Shua had disappeared when he was chasing after Musi, she did not think that he really had the ability to kill Zhang Shua. But he didn't expect it to really be him. She had a bad premonition in her heart. Since they had told her this secret, it seemed that they really did not intend to let her go. With a thought, she took out a signal flare and wanted to fire it. This signal flare was developed for this kind of situation. She only needed to control it with her mind and pull off the pull ring, and the flare would rise into the air by itself. Swoosh! Seeing the signal flare flying towards the sky from her hand, a glimmer of hope flashed through her heart. However, before the signal flare exploded, it was stopped by Di Wu. What a pity, the signal flare didn't work. Sima Yue smiled and said, That was close, you almost succeeded. Seems like to be on the safe side. I have to get rid of you guys as soon as possible. Meng Tianshan saw her holding a bottle and swaying it in front of her. She was so scared that her face turned pale. The smell of urine came from below, and her skirt was wet. Sima Yue furrowed her brows in disgust. So disgusting. She retracted her leg and took a step back. She fanned her nose and said, I didn't expect you to pee your pants just like that. You're so disgusting. I think even my Huahua will despise you. Huahua, do you want to eat such a person? Following her words, Huahua appeared. Seeing the people who peed their pants from fright, she said in disgust, I don't want to eat such a disgusting person. I'd better go and eat the others. After saying that, she transformed into her own flowers. One flower for one person and ate all of them. Meng Tianshan looked at Huahua and was so scared that she couldn't say anything. My Huahua really despises you. Sima Yue said, Seems like I have to get rid of you myself. No, don't kill me. Don't ruin my face. Meng Tianshan broke down completely. She cried so hard that it was a mess. What happened to the aura you had when you came in just now? Sima Yue shook her head. You're still thinking about your face at this time. Should I say that you're stupid or naive? No. No. Meng Tianshan didn't know what to say anymore, and just kept shaking her head. Don't worry, I don't have the habit of disfiguring people like you. Sima Yue said, but Meng Tianshan still couldn't stop crying. Don't cry. If you cry again, I'll destroy you immediately. Meng Tianshan stopped immediately. Because she was in such a hurry, she even burped. Huahua had already eaten everyone, and returned to Yu's side. She looked at Meng Tianshan in disgust and said, Yeah, you're so bad. You wanted to kill her, but you had to torture her. How did I torture her? I was just thinking about it. Sima Yue said very honestly, she's a rich young lady after all. I have to think of a dignified way for her to die. That's true. She's ugly to begin with. If her death is too ugly, we'll probably have nightmares. Huahua agreed. That's right, so I have to think of a beautiful way to die. Sima Yue said seriously. But yeah, look at her. Is she going to faint from fright? If she faints, it won't be fun. Don't worry, this poison will make them immobile, but it will make their nerves abnormally excited. She won't faint. That's good. Mu Si, who had been standing still, twitched his mouth. These two women were really ruthless. They didn't use any vulgarities when they scolded people. They tortured people's hearts and prevented them from fainting. He thought that Sima Yue was a good person, but it seemed like he thought too much. But what difference did it make whether she was a good person or not? There wasn't a clear boundary between good and bad people. She looked bad now, but from another point of view, she wasn't bad. Another warm stream flowed along the legs of the stool to the ground. Sima Yue and Huahua took 2 steps back at the same time. It's too disgusting. I can't watch it anymore. Huahua covered her nose and said, Indeed. Sima Yue turned back to look at Mu Si and said, How do we deal with this fellow? Mu Si stared at her hatefully. He thought of how they bullied him all these years and said, I want to deal with her personally. All right, then I'll leave it to you. Sima Yue nodded. Seeing him standing still, she remembered that he was also poisoned. She went over and gave him a pill to detoxify him. Mu Si was freed and walked towards Meng Tianshan. He took out a dagger from his space ring. It was the dagger that was stained with Zhang Shua's heartblood half a day ago. Mu Si, if you dare to kill me, I'll make sure you die a horrible death. Meng Tianshan shouted in despair. You'll die in front of me first. After saying that, he raised the dagger in his hand up high and stabbed down with all his might. Stop! Accompanied by a shout, a long sword attacked Mu Si's chest. Chapter 13:13. The sword was extremely fast and arrived in front of Mu Si in the blink of an eye. He did not even have time to react, and could only stare blankly as the sword quickly approached his chest. He could not dodge such a fast and powerful sword, especially when he felt that he was locked by a force and could not move at all. The white blade glowed coldly and dazzled him. In a trance, he smelled the scent of death. Just as he saw the Grim Reaper getting closer and closer to him, a soft hand was placed on his shoulder. A warm power came from the place where they touched, and it pulled him out of the illusion. He regained his senses and saw that Sima Yue was holding his shoulder with her left hand, and the sword with her right hand. The two of them were sent flying by the force of the sword for quite a distance before they stopped. Quang dang! The sword was thrown to the ground and Sima Yue shook her hand in pain. She took out some medicinal powder and applied it on her hand. The bleeding immediately stopped. It's so king painful. She took a deep breath. If it wasn't for the fact that her body had been tempered countless times, making her body comparable to a spiritual weapon, she wouldn't just be bleeding right now. Her entire palm would probably have been cut off. Mu Si looked at her with a complicated expression. No one knew what he was thinking. Meng Tianshan thought that she was definitely going to die. She did not expect that someone would come to save her at this time. When she saw the person who came in, she said excitedly, Peng Yuan, save me. Shan, don't worry. I will definitely save you. The leading man ran to Meng Tianshan's side and wanted to help her up. He did not mind that she had wet her pants just now. It seemed like it was true love. Sima Yue was not interested in this Pang Yuan. Her gaze landed on the old man who came in later. He was the one who had shot the sword just now. She did not know how strong he was. Could Hua Hua and the rest deal with him? The most important thing was that once the fight started, it would attract the patrol team's attention. His goal of secretly gathering information would not be achieved. Who are you? The old man looked at Sima Yue and was shocked. Although he did not know Sima Yue's exact age, he could feel that she was not old. At least she was not an old person who had lived for hundreds or thousands of years. At such a young age, he was actually able to receive his attack with his bare hands. Although he did not use his full strength, that was his spiritual weapon. It was not something that an ordinary person could withstand. Moreover, she received it with her bare hands. She was only injured, but her palm was not cut off. It's none of your business who I am, Sima Yue said. Seventh Grandpa, it's them. They're the ones who killed Zhang Shuo, Meng Tianshan said while trembling as she nestled in Pang Yuan's embrace. It was you who killed Zhang Shuo. It seems that no matter who you are, I can't let you go. Pang Qi stared at Sima Yue. He condensed spiritual power in both of his hands. Because of what happened just now, he did not underestimate Sima Yue and decided to give it his all. The moment Sima Yue saw him use his spirit energy, her hanging heart calmed down. If it wasn't above the venerable rank, then there was nothing to worry about. Although Pang Qi did not underestimate Sima Yue, he did not expect her to be so powerful. In a moment of carelessness, the entire room was enveloped in her domain. Sima Yue did not fully expand her domain. She only used its spatial attribute to envelop the entire room. Therefore, the others did not feel it. Only the powerful Pang Qi noticed it. Domain, how is this possible? He looked at Sima Yue. She was very young. He could not be wrong about that. However, the aura of the domain was connected to her. But how was this possible? How was it possible for a young person to comprehend a domain? However, he did not want to accept it. The truth was the truth. He had to admit that he was trapped in the domain. He looked at Sima Yue and did not dare to act rashly. He was thinking about how long it would take for him to break through this domain. Hua Hua, can you handle it alone? Sima Yue asked. This guy is a half-step venerable rank. If there was no one else, it would be fine. However, with these people, it would be a bit difficult. Hua Hua said honestly. Although her flowers could split into many branches, each branch would take away a little of her strength. She would not be as strong as when she attacked with all her strength. Then you go and deal with those guys. Little Meng, I'll leave this guy to you. Sima Yue said. Okay, Yu. Hua Hua split out many branches to deal with those followers. Because Pang Yuan's position in the family was higher, and because Zhang Shuo's death had alerted him, the people he brought out were much stronger than Zhang Shuo and Meng Tianshan. They wanted to protect themselves. Unfortunately, they were facing Sima Yue and the others. These people were not enough. When Mu Si heard Sima Yue say another name, he thought that she actually had an even stronger contract beast. This was too powerful. One Hua Hua was enough to surprise him. Now there was another one. How strong was she? When little Meng came out, the cold air emitted from her body made Mu Si shiver subconsciously. After she came out, she did not speak and directly attacked Pang Qi. Sima Yue looked at little Meng, who had the advantage, and sighed slightly. She used to be such a cute, lively and innocent girl. Ever since she recovered her memories and removed the seal, the aura on her body became colder and colder. If they did not sign the contract at the beginning, it would be a big question mark if they wanted to subdue her now, especially now that she was digesting the dark aura. Every time she digested it, her strength would increase by a bit. The aura on her body would also become colder. Mu Si saw that Pang Qi was being beaten back by little Meng inside. So powerful. He knew about Pang Qi and his strength. Now that even he could not defeat little Meng, it meant that she was stronger. Because of the extension of the domain space, although it looked like it was in the courtyard, the space of the battle was very wide. The clash of spiritual power made Mu Si feel the majestic power, but the people outside did not feel it at all. Soon, Hua Hua and Diwu finished off those people. Seeing that little Meng was about to deal the final blow to Pang Qi, Huahua quickly went up. Little Meng, he's such a good nourishment, don't kill him. Huahua shouted. Little Meng's killer move struck to the side the moment she attacked. The aura of death and Pang Qi passed through. But before he could heave a sigh of relief, a huge flower descended from the sky and sucked him in. In the end, only Peng Yuan and Meng Tianshan, who were scared silly, were left. You can't kill me. Peng Yuan saw Sima Yue looking at him. He was so scared that his body went soft and his hands lost their strength. Meng Tianshan, who was in his arms, fell to the ground. This again. Oh, why can't I kill you? Sima Yue asked indifferently. Chapter 13-14. Title. Chapter Missed Opportunities Will Never Come Again. Author. She was clearly an extremely beautiful lady. She was clearly smiling, but he felt fear towards her from the bottom of his heart. It was as if he was looking at an old witch. He swallowed his saliva and tried to calm himself down, saying, My position in the family is very high. I have a soul imprint left behind by my ancestors. If you attack me, not only will you be attacked by the imprint, the family will also receive the news immediately. Then you'll be in danger. Sima Yue naturally knew about this type of soul imprint. She had a few of them in her mind. But when she looked at Mu Si and saw him nodding, she believed what he said. All right, I'll take it that you're telling the truth. Sima Yue shrugged. She did not say whether she would kill him or let him go. However, he heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. Since she already believed his words, then he could say that he was already safe. As long as you let me go, I will definitely not pursue this matter. I will even send you a large sum of compensation. He tried his best to make himself look sincere. Not only that, I will treat you as my boss from now on. If you tell me to go east, I will definitely not go west. If you tell me to be a cow, I will definitely not be a horse. If you don't believe me, I can swear. As long as I swear, I definitely won't dare to hurt you again. Sima Yue looked at Peng Yuan, whose face was full of sincerity. She had to admit that this guy was smarter than Zhang Shua and Meng Tianshan from before. In the end, the two of them still put on airs as young ladies and young masters, thinking that it would be enough if they let her go. He was too foolish and naive. This Peng Yuan was not so blindly arrogant. When he saw that his men had been killed, he immediately lowered his attitude and knew to apologize and compensate. However, whether or not his heart was sincere remained to be seen. Since you said that you can make an oath, then you can make an oath first. Sima Yue said. A trace of joy flashed in Peng Yuan's eyes, and he immediately swore an oath. I, Peng Yuan, swear in the name of the God of Darkness that as long as you let me go today, I will not pursue this matter and look for trouble with her again. When I get back, I'll have someone send a gift to apologize. Peng Yuan felt that his oath was flawless. As long as she let him go, he could leave. As long as he left, then what would happen next? However, Sima Yue's face turned cold after hearing this. She said faintly, I thought you were a smart person. Peng Yuan was shocked when he heard her words. She hurriedly recalled her oath again, and felt that there was nothing to be angry about. Could it be that she had guessed his thoughts? Sima Yue looked at him and said, There's nothing wrong with your oath, and you look very sincere. But you shouldn't think that my IQ is as low as the woman in front of you. I didn't. Peng Yuan denied flatly. You said that you wouldn't cause trouble for me after you go back. But what you're thinking is that you're referring to yourself. When the time comes, you'll tell everyone about this and your clan will take revenge for you. As long as you don't show up and pretend that you don't know about this matter, you still won't break the oath, right? Peng Yuan wanted to say that he did not think that way, but Sima Yue's eyes were so bright that he knew that even if he said that, she would not believe him. I was careless just now. I'll make a new oath. However, Sima Yue shook her head and said, Some opportunities are missed. You can't kill me. I have a soul imprint on my body. Killing me won't do you any good. I can make a new oath. I swear that my clan will not cause trouble for you, okay? As long as you don't kill me. Peng Yuan said. His analysis was right. Letting him go was much more useful than killing him. Unfortunately, he did not know that she had many ways to deal with him. She thought that this person was not too bad, so she did not insist on killing him. As long as he knew what was good for him, it was not impossible for her to let him go. Unfortunately, he wasted this opportunity. Don't worry, I won't kill you, Sima Yue said. But I won't let you go either. Hearing that she would not kill him, Peng Yuan heaved a sigh of relief and continued to persuade her. It's not good for you to catch me. If my clan doesn't see me go back, they will definitely send people to investigate. They will follow my scent to find me. At that time, it will be bad for you. If I want to catch you, they will naturally not be able to find you, Sima Yue said. The Peng clan has a secret method. They can use their life plates to calculate their approximate location. Musi said. If those people find us, it will be troublesome. Don't worry, I have my own arrangements, Sima Yue said. Huahua, your flowers can imprison people but not kill them, right? Yes, Huahua said. Then catch him. When I'm done with my business, I'll consider whether to kill him or not, Sima Yue said. I don't want to imprison that woman. She has the smell of urine, Huahua proposed. And if you don't want to, then don't. Sima Yue did not insist. Didn't this woman want to disfigure me and kill me? Kill her. Musi? Just now, Musi was attacked by Peng Qi when he was trying to kill Meng Tianshan. Now she handed her over to him again. Musi's dagger was still in his hand. He walked over and saw that the person was already scared silly. He waved the dagger and slashed it down heavily. Pooh! The entire dagger sank into the flesh. When he pulled it out, blood spurted out. It splattered all over his face and clothes. Peng Yuan's mouth moved when he was about to do it. It seemed like he wanted to stop him, but he gave up in the end. When she smelled so bad, he did not despise her. It could be seen that he had true feelings for her. But this feeling became very ethereal in the face of life and death. Sima Yue did not think that he was cold-blooded because of this. This was just a normal reaction in this continent. There were not many people who were willing to live and die together. Huahua. She called out. A vine flew out from Huahua's sleeve. A flower quickly grew on the vine. It came to Peng Yuan's side and sucked him in. Peng Yuan did not resist. He knew that it was useless to resist. Floey was able to kill all of his guards, which meant that she wasn't someone he could compare to. If he did not resist, he would suffer less. Sima Yue felt that this kid was not bad. A wise man submits to circumstances. He was only one step away from being a wise man. If it was not because of his high position that made him not give up on dealing with her, he would have missed that opportunity. All right, let's go out. Sima Yue kept her domain. The courtyard turned into a small courtyard again. Those people were gone. Only Meng Tianshan's corpse was still lying on the ground. Huahua would not eat it. Sima Yue threw a fire and burned her to ashes. Gentleman's alliance. Chapter 13-15. There will never be any pop-up windows in the online book bar. Sima Yue kept Huahua and Xiaoming back. Their plates were still on the table. A good meal was ruined by them just like that. Diwu lamented. Weren't you full when those people came? Sima Yue asked. He finished all the food she made. Only the fruits were left untouched. Is that safe for you? Musi asked. I heard that Peng Clan's secret technique is very powerful. That's your contracted beast after all. It'll be troublesome if they find it. Don't worry, it'll be fine, Sima Yue said confidently. If it was just the contracted space, perhaps Qixi would be transmitted to her. But Huahua went to Spirit Pagoda, that was a different space. Even if they used the secret technique to track it, they wouldn't be able to find it here. Diwu and Musi were relieved when they saw her confidence. Then she used her spirit technique to erase the aura of those people in the courtyard. It's finally done. She clapped her hands and smiled. Musi looked at her and suddenly knelt down in front of her, giving Diwu and her a shock. Musi, what are you doing? Musi kowtowed to her twice and said, Please save my father. With you around, you'll definitely be able to find my father. Sima Yue looked at him. She didn't expect him to make such a request. She didn't care about him and took out a chair to sit down. I have my own things to do, you know that. I know, that's why I'm not asking you to help me immediately. After you're done with your things, can you help me find my father? Musi said. Your father has been missing for so many years without any clues. It's easier said than done to find him. Sima Yue said. Moreover, we just met. Why should I help you? To put it bluntly, what benefits can I get by helping you? As long as you're willing to help me, I'll do anything. Musi said. What can I ask you to do? Sima Yue said. After I rescue my father, I will leave this place. I may never come back here again. What can I ask you to do? Musi's face flushed red. She was right, he was of no use to her. In this real world, who would help him for free? Even Yangzi had a motive for being nice to him, let alone a person whom he had known for less than a day. However, his intuition told him that after this, he did not know when he would be able to find his father again. If you can find my father, I'm willing to go with you. Although I'm not strong now, I'm still young. One day, I'll become someone useful to you. Sima Yue looked at him, wondering if she should agree. Although they hadn't known each other for long, she still liked and pitied him. They were both alone, but along the way, she had many friends and masters by her side, and he had no one. Speaking of which, he was much more pitiful than her. However, if she agreed, she didn't know what kind of things would happen. Musi saw that she was still hesitating and made up his mind. He took out a black jade slip and said, Father went to search for treasure. If you can find him, you can find this treasure. At that time, the treasure will be yours. Sima Yue was slightly stunned when she saw the jade slip. So he had found this thing long ago, but he didn't tell anyone. This brat was quite good at pretending. Aren't you afraid that if you take this thing out, I won't do anything after snatching it? You won't. Musi said with certainty. I believe you. Sima Yue looked at him and took the jade slip from his hand, saying, Don't you know that sometimes you can't blindly trust others? Especially when we've known each other for less than a day. Musi didn't say anything. It was impossible for him to completely trust her. However, he was betting that if he won, he would find his father. Moreover, although they hadn't known each other for long, she told him directly that she would help him. Seeing him like this again, Sima Yue sighed and said, I'll think about it. Get up first. Musi hesitated for a moment and stood up. Have you seen the thing inside? She played with the jade slip. Was there really a treasure map inside? She was a little doubtful. Musi shook his head and said, There's a seal inside. I can't open it now. Oh. She separated a strand of divine sense and carefully probed inside. As expected, there was a layer of obstruction. This layer of restriction was very difficult for Musi, but it was very easy for her. She used a little bit of force and her divine sense entered the layer of restriction. The jade slip didn't have the treasure map that Musi mentioned. There was only a figure inside. It should be the divine sense that his father left behind. Feeling someone enter, the divine sense opened its eyes. When it saw that it wasn't its son, but an unknown girl, its expression changed and asked, Where's my child? Don't worry, Musi is fine. Sima Yue said. He let me in. He's outside right now. You can feel it. Musi's father, Mu Lianjie, sensed for a moment. After confirming that his child was fine, he looked at her and asked, Why did Musi give this to you? He thought that this was a treasure map and wanted me to find you, so he gave this to me. But from the looks of it, there isn't a treasure map here. Sima Yue said. There is indeed a treasure, but I didn't leave behind a treasure map. Mu Lianjie said. If you can find me, you might find the treasure. You didn't go to find the treasure. Sima Yue said with certainty. If you don't tell me the truth, I won't agree to his request. There is indeed a treasure in the place I went, but I didn't go there to find it. I went there to save someone. Save someone? Right, I know a friend. Although we haven't known each other for long, I promised that if something happened to him, I would save him. Who is he? I can't tell you who he is, but I think you should be able to guess, because you have a similar aura as him. Sima Yue was stunned and said, You went to save my father? So Sima Luxian is your father? Mu Lianjie smiled. Right. Where is he now? I don't know where he is. I only know that he went missing at Sunset Mountain. I will only know when I go there to look for him. Mu Lianjie said. Child, I want to entrust you with something. What is it? If I'm already dead when you find me, I want you to take Musi and leave this place. Sima Yue was silent for a while and said, Okay. Mu Lianjie fell into a deep sleep after getting her promise. It seemed like that was all he wanted to say to her. He had to preserve his energy and wait for his child to come in and give him instructions. The only official website of the online book bar. Everything else is fake. Chapter 13:16. Sima Yue sighed in her heart and said to the consciousness, If you're really not dead, I'll definitely take care of Musi. Mu Lianjie's lips curled up slightly. It seemed like he had heard her words. Musi looked at Sima Yue. Seeing the slight change in her expression, he knew that there should be no problem. After a while, Sima Yue withdrew her divine sense and returned the jade slip to him, saying, There's no treasure map inside. Nothing. Musi was shocked. How could there be nothing? Father clearly said that this was very important. If he disappeared, we could use this to find him. There's a trace of consciousness left behind by your father inside, Sima Yue said. He sealed it with a restriction so that you can enter when you're strong enough. Musi was a little disappointed. If this wasn't a treasure map, what right did he have to negotiate with her? Don't be disappointed. I promise you that I'll take you to your father, but I can't guarantee that I'll be able to find him. Because even he himself doesn't know what will happen when he goes there. Sima Yue said. Musi understood the meaning behind her words. She was saying that the future was unknown and his father might not be around anymore. Since there's no treasure map, then why did father tell others that he went to look for treasure? Musi didn't understand. I think firstly it's to cover your tracks. Secondly, it's to protect you. Sima Yue said. Since his father was a taboo topic here, Mu Lianjie definitely couldn't brazenly say that he was going to save him. But if he wanted to go out, he had to find a reasonable reason. In addition, if something happened to him, as long as the treasure hadn't appeared, Musi would be fine. At least, a so-called friend like Yangzi would raise him with a purpose. However, she couldn't tell Musi about this right now. It would be best if she could still find Mu Lianjie. If she couldn't, then she would tell him the truth. After the commotion, they were no longer in the mood to eat. Sima Yue put away the food and took out the tables and chairs to decorate the house. Finally, it looked like a house for people to live in. There were only 2 bedrooms. After Sima Yue kicked Di Wu into Musi's room, she closed the door and thought about Mu Lianjie and her father. However, she didn't receive any news and couldn't think of anything. She sighed and decided to cultivate tonight. In order to ensure their safety, she casually set up a boundary around the courtyard. Then the 3 of them either slept or cultivated. The courtyard was noisy for a while before it finally quieted down in the afternoon. Compared to the tranquil courtyard, the outside of Ghost City was in chaos. In the morning, the young master of the Zhang family was killed. In the afternoon, Meng Tianshan's life jade was broken. The 7th master of the Pang family was also dead. The young master of the Pang family was missing. He couldn't find any trace of him, even with the secret method. This series of events caused the several families to explode. If at the beginning they were still suspicious of Zhang Shua chasing after that refugee, then now they were completely at a loss. Because there were so many guards, it wasn't something a brat could deal with. Especially Pang Qi, he was half a step into the paragon rank. It was because he was powerful that he was sent to protect the young master. Now that he was dead and the young master was missing, they determined that the suspect was someone above the paragon rank. However, there were many people like that in the entire Ghost City. It wasn't easy to find out who it was. However, no matter how difficult it was, they had to investigate. How could they let someone who dared to kill their young master, and so many guards off? Especially when it concerned their reputation, they had to investigate. The Pang family had to investigate even more because their young master's whereabouts were unknown. If it wasn't for the fact that his life jade was still intact, they would probably go berserk like the Zhang family. Zhang family's residence meeting hall. The person who went out to investigate today was kneeling in front of the Zhang family's elder, Zhang Qi. Zhang Shua's position in the Zhang family wasn't particularly high. Although they sent people to investigate, it wasn't enough to trouble the entire elder group and the clan head. The clan head sent Zhang Qi to be in charge of this matter. It was already considered important. If it was someone else, he would probably send a steward to be in charge. What did you find? Zhang Qi asked. Replying to elder, we saw young master Zhang Shua's schedule today. Everyone said that he chased that brat Mu Si to a remote place. The leader of the guard said. Then why didn't you capture that Mu Si? Zhang Qi asked. That Mu Si shouldn't be. Also, his identity is special. It's not good for us to capture him. The guard replied. Why? His father is Mu Lianjia. Hearing Mu Lianjia's name, Zhang Qi's eyes narrowed. It's actually him. Yes. Because of the city lord's decree, we can't easily capture Mu Si. The guard said. However, that Mu Si can't possibly kill young master Zhang Shua. Mu Lianjia's son, shouldn't he be more powerful? Zhang Qi asked. Replying to elder, this Mu Si isn't Mu Lianjia's real son. He was brought back when he went outside 15 years ago. The guard said. That's why he's only a 15-year-old child. He's only been cultivating for a few years. How could he have the strength to kill so many guards and young master Zhang Shua? Young master Zhang Shua and a few other young masters and young mistresses from other clans would beat him half to death. Zhang Qi thought about it and eliminated Mu Si. Since he was someone without any conditions, there was no need to think too much about it. Since those people saw Zhang Shua chasing after Mu Si, then Mu Si might have discovered something. You guys go to his place and investigate. See if you can find any clues. Zhang Qi said. Yes, elder. On the second day, Sima Yuyue was disturbed by the movement from the enchantment. When she woke up from her meditation, Mu Si had already gone outside to walk around, and came back. Her enchantment was to prevent outsiders from coming in and disturbing her, but it didn't prohibit the people inside from leaving. Mu Si didn't think that he would encounter an obstruction when he entered the courtyard. He walked forward with his head lowered. When he felt the courtyard, he walked in, but he didn't expect to be blocked outside. He used all his strength to rush forward, but he was rebounded by a force and fell to the ground. He was still wondering why he couldn't enter the courtyard when a ripple flashed by. Sima Yoyue's voice was heard. Come in. Mu Si climbed up and patted the dust off his clothes. He slowly tried to enter, and this time, there was nothing blocking him. Where did you go? Sima Yue opened the door and asked. I went out for a walk to see the situation outside. Mu Si said. What was that just now? Enchantment. Don't you know? Mu Si shook his head and said. My father rarely taught me these things. When I was able to cultivate, he had already disappeared. Sima Yue saw his curious eyes and couldn't help but ask. Do you want to learn? Chapter 13-17. Mu Si's eyes lit up. Can I? This spirit barrier is neither difficult nor simple. If there's a chance in the future, I can pass it to you. Sima Yu said. I think father should know how to do it. You can find him and ask him to pass it to you. Mu Si knew that Sima Yue didn't have time to teach him now. If there was time in the future, he could learn from her. What did you see when you went out today? Can you get out of the city? Sima Yue asked. No. Mu Si said. It said that something happened in the forbidden area, so the entire city was sealed. No matter if it's human or ghost, they can't get out of the city. Furthermore, Zhang clan, Meng clan and Pang clan were searching everywhere. They interrogated whoever they caught, so there were fewer people on the streets. They didn't catch you when you went out? Diwu asked. They caught me for a while, but they let me go when they saw that it was me. Mu Si said. You were bullied in the past, so they naturally wouldn't believe that you could kill Zhang Shua and the rest. Sima Yue said. I reckon they've already set their sights on paragon rank and above. To be able to kill a half-step paragon, in their opinion, it must be a half-step paragon and above. Sima Yue said. That's good too, it can save us a lot of trouble. You're saying that they'll still find their way here? Diwu asked. Zhang Shua chased after Mu Si and left, then he was killed. Sima Yue said. No matter if he did it or not, they'll send someone to question him. That's true. Diwu nodded. These big clans love to vent their anger on others. They might even hang him up and beat him up. Alright, stop scaring him. Sima Yue said. But Mu Si, do you know what they'll say if they find you? They'll say that they chased me to a small alley and met you there. You saved me. When we left, he was still alive. Mu Si said. Sure. In any case, no one saw what happened after that. As for how that guy got to the forbidden area, how would they know? But young miss, we have to think of a reasonable identity. If not, how are we going to leave if we stay here? Diwu said. If those people ask, just say that we are just a small family in the north of the city. We happened to pass by and saw them bullying Mu Si, so we saved him. Sima Yue said. That's all? Those people aren't fools. Why would they believe us? As long as they send someone to investigate, we'll be doomed. Diwu said. They're busy looking for the murderer. How would they have the time to investigate us? Sima Yue said. Besides, the managers of the north and the south are like fire and water. It won't be easy to investigate. How could this be? If it's someone else, it might be easier. But if it's the Zhang family, I'm afraid that they'll be stopped the moment they enter the northern district. Sima Yue said with a smile. That's true. Isn't the Zhang family the manager of the south? The people there will definitely pay attention to them. But young miss, what if their investigation is successful? Diwu said. Then we'll be unlucky. We'll think of a way to leave by then. Sima Yue said. Oh right, have you eaten breakfast? I ate a little. Mu Si replied. What he didn't say was that after eating the food she made yesterday, he didn't feel like eating the buns anymore. He usually ate 3 big buns, but he only ate 1 today. You didn't eat well, right? I'll get you something to eat. Sima Yue said as she took out her cooking utensils. She cooked a pot of mixed porridge, baked a few pancakes and fried 2 side dishes for him. Although he usually ate porridge and pancakes, but the food she made was delicious. Diwu felt that there were benefits to being with Mu Si. At least he could eat a lot of young Mrs. food. This was a treatment that Di Lu and even Master didn't have. But why was young Miss so nice to this guy? Especially after looking at the Jade Scroll. The way she looked at him was different. What was inside the Jade Scroll? He was very curious, but since young Miss didn't say, it was useless for him to ask. Sima Yue looked at Mu Si's head and felt apologetic. She felt heartache and pity for him. She didn't expect that his father went missing because he went to save her father. If Mu Lianjie was still alive, she could help him find his father. But if he was no longer in this world, then she would feel guilty towards him for the rest of her life. Especially when she thought about how he lived alone at such a young age, and was bullied for so many years. She felt that she had to make it up to him. Mu Si felt her gaze and raised his head to ask, "What's wrong?" "Nothing." Sima Yue smiled. "How is it? Is it delicious?" You're a boy and you're still growing. Cultivation will consume your energy, eat more." Mu Si. Yangzi came in from outside and saw the 3 of them eating in the courtyard. The scene was heartwarming and made him feel a sense of danger. "Uncle Yangzi, you're here." Mu Si smiled and waved at him saying, "See, you made some food and it's delicious. Do you want to try it?" Yangzi looked at the pots and pans at the side and recognized that they were spirit weapons. He was even more guarded against Sima Yue. "It does smell good. But I don't eat these things anymore. You can eat it yourself," he said as he walked over. He found that the food Sima Yue made for Mu Si were all spirit dishes. Even if it was just a bowl of rice, he could feel the spirit energy contained in it. This kind of thing was much more useful than the few low-grade crystal stones that he had given to her. "You're called Siyu?" Yangzi looked at Sima Yue. "Yes." Sima Yue calmly replied. "Uncle Yangzi, why are you here? Did something happen outside?" Mu Si asked. "It's a mess outside. Yang Zi said, the Zhang, Ming and Pang families are catching suspicious people. Why are you still? He didn't finish his sentence, but it was obvious that he wanted to ask why he let these people stay in the house. Uncle Yang Zi, Siyu and the rest aren't suspicious people. They're from the Si family in the north of the city. Yang Zi said. Siyu said that she hasn't been to the south before, so she came here to play. It's so chaotic outside. They definitely won't be able to find a place to stay. They just saved me yesterday. It's rare that they don't mind that I don't have anything here. How can I let them go? But the north and south of the city aren't on good terms. If the Zhang family finds out, it'll be even more troublesome. Yang Zi said. Look, the Zhang family is here. Everyone looked up and saw a group of people walking in from outside. Chapter 13-18. Sima Yue looked at those people. They were wearing Zhang family's uniform. They should be Zhang family's guards. Yang Zi went forward and cupped his hands towards the leader of the guards. He smiled. Guard Peng, what brings you to the refugee camp today? So it's Yang Zi, why are you here? Zhang Peng sized Yang Zi up. He was wondering if this fella killed young master Zhang Shua. Zhang Shua bullied Mu Si. This fella had always been on good terms with Mu Si. He took care of him. It was possible that he killed young master Zhang Shua because of him. Yang Zi knew what he was thinking from his expression. He quickly explained. Guard Peng, don't think too much. I didn't kill your family's young master. It's really not you? Zhang Peng didn't believe him. Now in their eyes, anyone who could be the culprit was a suspect. It's really not me. You can go and investigate. When young master Zhang Shua died, I was busy working with everyone in the shop. Yang Zi said. I will investigate. Zhang Peng snorted. I also hope it's not you. We still have some friendship. If it's really you, then our friendship isn't enough. I will definitely capture you back. Don't worry, it's not me. I have a witness. Yang Zi smiled. Alright, Guard Peng, why are you here? Are you suspecting that Mu Si killed young master Zhang Shua? With Mu Si's ability, can he kill him? Zhang Peng said. I'm here under Elder Qi's orders to ask Mu Si some questions. Is Elder Qi the one asking about this matter? Yang Zi was taken aback and asked with some surprise. That's right, Elder Qi is the strictest among all the elders. The murderer will definitely not be able to escape. Zhang Peng said. Alright, stand aside, don't disturb me. Alright. Yang Zi retreated to the side, avoiding Zhang Peng's line of sight. His gaze landed on the few people who were having breakfast. When he saw Sima Yue and Di Wu, he felt that they were unfamiliar. They were definitely not from here. He came to Di Wu and asked, Who are you? Master. Di Wu was about to say something arrogant, but Sima Yue glared at him. Cough cough, I'm Di Wu, my lady's follower. Zhang Peng looked at Sima Yue and said, Miss? Which family's young mistress was that? Why do you look so unfamiliar to me? Sima Yue put down her chopsticks and smiled. I am Siyu, the daughter of the Si family in the north of the city. From the north of the city? Zhang Peng frowned. They had not seen many people from the north of the city. However, he seemed to have heard of the Si family before. It seemed to be a rather large family in the northern part of the city. It was said that they had a good relationship with the manager there. If she was really from the Si family, then she had to be careful. Yes. Sima Yue said, if bodyguard Peng doesn't believe me, you can send someone to investigate. I don't think anyone would dare to impersonate someone from the Si family, right? Hearing her words, Zhang Peng was more or less convinced about her identity. Indeed, no one would dare to impersonate someone from the Si family, much less say such things after impersonating them. Since you are Miss Si, why would you come to the north of the city and be with Mu Si? Zhang Peng asked. Sima Yue blinked her eyes. This fellow did not doubt her at all, and his attitude was much better. Could there really be a Si family in the north of the city? Yang Zi was also stunned. Mu Si did not know about the Si family, but he did. No wonder she could take out such good furniture to cook. Sima Yue glanced at their reactions and knew that she had guessed correctly. It seemed that not only was there a Si family in the north of the city, This C family's status was not low. Didn't I come out to play? She smiled and said, coincidentally, when I walked here yesterday, I saw a group of people bullying Musi, so I went up to save him. Did you kill my young master? Don't tell me your young master is that fatty with a big head and big ears wearing a flashy red outfit. Sima Yue said. Young master Zhang Shua is indeed quite fat. Zhang Peng said. So you really did kill my young master? No, I didn't kill that fatty. I hate fatty the most. I don't even want to touch a fatty when I see one. Why would I kill him? Sima Yue said. I only killed a few guards and saved this little fellow. You really didn't kill my young master? I said I didn't. It's up to you to believe it or not. Sima Yue's face darkened, and she was a little angry. Missy, don't be angry. This is just a routine interrogation. Zhang Peng said. Are you done? If you are, then hurry up and get lost. My eyes hurt just looking at you. Sima Yue was furious. She was indeed a young miss from a big family. Her spoiled temper was the same as the other young misses in the family. However, since they were outside, this kind of temperament would not be of much use, especially when she was in someone else's territory. Zhang Peng suppressed the anger in his heart and said, Miss C, you are the young miss of the C family. This refugee camp is not suitable for you to stay in. My Zhang family is the manager of the southern part of the city. Since you are here, we naturally have to be the host. Why don't you move over to the Zhang family? I'm not going. Sima Yue rejected. I'm comfortable here. I don't want to move. Miss C, this place is old and run down. How can it fit you? Why don't you come with us to the Zhang family? Zhang Peng said. As long as it's pleasing to the eye and comfortable to stay, I'll be happy to stay in a place like this. Sima Yue said. I once heard from my father that the Zhang family is not very friendly. I'm afraid that I'll be bullied if I go there. So it's better for me to stay here. Miss C, don't you want me to go to the Zhang family so that they can interrogate me if I killed your young master? I'll give you peace of mind today. As she spoke, she placed her hand on her heart and said, I swear to the god of darkness that my men and I definitely did not kill Zhang Shua. We didn't even touch him. If I'm lying, let me fall into eternal hell. Then, a ray of black light entered her chest. After a while, she did not feel any discomfort. Zhang Peng did not expect this Miss C to have some brains. She knew that he did not sincerely invite her to stay, and use such a method to prove her innocence. From their point of view, since Miss C came out to play, she definitely had more than one follower. There must be an expert protecting her in the dark. She did not kill anyone, but that did not mean that her guards did not kill anyone. He wanted her to go to the Zhang family to lure out the people behind her. However, he could not brazenly take her away. Now that the oath had proven her innocence, he could also eliminate her as a suspect. Miss C, you misunderstood. I didn't mean it that way. Zhang Peng said. It doesn't matter whether you meant it that way or not. Sima Yue said. I'm not like those people who think that it's okay to make an oath. If this can prove my innocence and save me a lot of trouble, I'm willing to do it. That day, I saved Musi and left. As for what happened to your young master, he doesn't know either. So there's nothing for you to ask. Please go back. Chapter 13-19. Zhang Peng's face was red. He wanted to flare up, but when he saw Sima Yue's arrogant look, he felt guilty instead. He was smart enough to understand that he had to lower his head when he was under someone else's roof. A woman who could be so arrogant must have something to rely on. Musi went out this morning. I heard that not only was the young master of the Zhang family killed, but the young mistress of the Meng family was also killed. Oh right, a half-step supremacy from the Pang family was also killed. The young master of the Pang family also went missing. Even their secret technique couldn't track them down. Musi is just a child. The person you're looking for is at least a supremacy. Sima Yue said. Look at Musi. Does he look like one? Miss C, don't be angry. Everyone saw Musi with young master Zhang Shua. That's why we came over to ask if anything suspicious happened. Zhang Peng said. Since you said that you left with him, I guess you didn't see what happened after that. We still have other places to investigate, so we'll take our leave first. Take care. Sima Yue said faintly. Goodbye. Zhang Peng waved his hand and all his subordinates retreated. He cupped his hands at Sima Yue and left as well. He didn't even look at Yang Zi. Come, continue eating. Don't let these things affect your appetite. Sima Yue put some food into Mu Si's bowl. Mu Si looked at Sima Yue. She was so domineering just now. They had only known each other for 2 days, but she had shown so many sides. She was cunning when she saved people, decisive when she killed people, warm and kind when she was nice to him, and domineering when she faced Zhang Peng. How could a person have so many sides? Well, I didn't expect you to be the young mistress of the Si family. Please forgive me if I offended you, Yang Zi said. Not really, but I want to stay at Mu Si's place while I'm playing in the south of the city. That shouldn't be a problem, right? Sima Yue said. No problem. Why would there be a problem? Yang Zi said. This is Mu Si's house. If he says it's okay, then there's no problem. That's good. Sima Yue smiled and looked at him. This Mu Si has always listened to you since he was young. If you say no, he can't go against it. Mu Si, your uncle Yang Zi already said that there's no problem. Can you rest assured and let me stay here now? See you, what are you saying? Of course I welcome you to stay. Mu Si said. That's good. For some reason, Yang Zi felt that Sima Yue's smile was very warm when she faced Mu Si, but when she looked at him, although she was smiling, it made him feel a chill from the bottom of his heart. Could it be that she also knew about the treasure map? Mu Si, since you're fine here, I still have something to do in the shop. I'll go back first. All right, Uncle Yang Zi. A trace of fear flashed across Yang Zi's eyes. But he had no choice but to turn around and leave. When there was no one around, Diwu then asked the question in his mind. Miss, how did you know that there's a Si family in the north of the city and even let this little fellow call you Siyu? That's right. I didn't know that there's a Si family in the north of the city, Mu Si said. Sima Yue shrugged and said, I don't know either. This is probably the so-called hit the nail on the head by a fluke. From those people's reaction, this Si family should be a big family in the north of the city. If they want to investigate, they can easily find out. Diwu said. That's true too, Sima Yue said. I originally wanted to say that it's a small family so that they would have to spend some time to investigate. But from the looks of it, this Si family is quite famous. They can just ask directly. Didn't you say that they wouldn't have any results even if they went to the north of the city? Mu Si was still young and didn't think so much. If Zhang family wants to send people to the north of the city to investigate, it's not easy if they don't have a target. But if they have a target, they just need to send people to ask. After all, there will always be people paying attention to big family matters. Sima Yue explained. Then aren't you in danger? Mu Si said. You're worried about me? Sima Yue supported her chin with her palm and asked with a smile. Mu Si lowered his head and said, We just met. Why would I be worried about you? I've never worried about others. Sima Yue looked at him with a smile. This arrogant fella who said one thing and meant another was quite cute. But to be honest, Missy, if they find out that you're not here, we'll definitely be in trouble. What should we do then? Diwu asked. Don't you know that there's a saying, counter soldiers with arms, water with an earthware? But there are so many of them. There are probably millions of them in this city. How can we deal with them all? Diwu said worriedly. That's true. Sima Yue sighed. Seems like we have to think of a way to leave the city. The city is sealed everywhere now. How can we leave? Mu Si said. Don't worry. Even if we're exposed, I have a way to hide from those people. Sima Yue said. If they really found out, she could just change her appearance. Anyway, with 1,000 residents around, it was just a piece of cake. Diwu and Mu Si subconsciously believed her when they saw her confident look. It was as if as long as she was around, everything would be fine. Mu Si looked at her blankly. His father used to be like that too. He was very confident in everything he said. But the last time he said that he would definitely come back, he didn't come back after so many years. Father, Sima Yue saw his expression turning sad and knew that he must be thinking about his father. She said, "Are you guys done eating? If you're done, let's go out for a walk." Go out for a walk. The two of them looked at her in disbelief. Yeah. Since Zhang family already knows about us, there's nothing to hide. Sima Yue said, "Since we're in this city, we have to take a look around. Who knows, we might be able to discover something." That's true. Di Wu immediately became excited. Speaking of which, there are very few people from Ghost Realm who can come over. I can take a look and tell those fellows what this place looks like in the future. If not, those fellows will laugh their heads off when they know that I'm in Ghost City but know nothing. Sima Yue looked at this fellow helplessly. He always wanted to show off to his brothers. His character was really, "Since that's the case, I'll bring you guys out and introduce you guys." Musi said, "All right." They packed their things and left. As Musi lived in the slums, there were dilapidated houses on the way out. At the same time, Zhang Peng went back to report the news to Zhang Qi. Zhang Qi was shocked when he heard that it was Si family. He kept silent for a while before saying, "Send someone to Si family in the north of the city to investigate. Be careful not to make any noise." You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.